Hello, bonjour, hello, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Friday at Le Mans with Cars on Track. Graham Goodwin, Martin Haven, ready to watch a landmark race. Actually, a landmark race not only for Le Mans 24 hours, because normally there is no track racing on Friday. This is the first, certainly in my quarter of a century, half a century nearly coming here. But secondly, for Road to Le Mans itself. Previously, the format for the last 10 years has been two 55-minute sprint races. This, though, is going to be very different. Not just the longest race they've had at Le Mans, but by some very considerable margin, the longest Michelin Le Mans Cup race in history. Not 1 hour, not the standard 2 hours. This will be a full 3-hour race. And Graham, that opens up all sorts of possibilities here for doing things differently. I mean, everybody's going to figure out how we're going to slice this.
It does. There's Sarah Bovey, the Grand Marshal for the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Great to see this ear of corn formation as well, the traditional Le Mans formation for this 3-hour race. This opening it up on the Friday gives them the opportunity to do this. All sorts of reasons why this has been done. Obviously, it's a packed schedule of support races for the 24 Hours of Le Mans this year, with one-make races for Porsche and Ferrari on the scene. I think it's also fair to say they're taking a look at whether or not this endurance format ran this fabulous 13.626, I think you'll find. A kilometre.
Depends how accurate you are with your line, I think.
Apparently Formula One just found that out. But also to find out whether or not that might help some of the excesses we perhaps have seen over the last decade in these races. We have had some awesome racing in the Road to Le Mans. We've also had some not so much.
Yeah, and a traditional Michelin Le Mans Cup race, a 2-hour race, they're normally pretty sensible, if you like, and pretty much controlled. In the sprint format that we've had here, the need to get on with everything seems to have really been a bit of a catalyst for more incidents than anybody would like. Drivers, officials, teams, apart from maybe parts suppliers. So doing something, I mean, repeating the same thing, expecting a different outcome is the definition of insanity, isn't it? So we're trying something different, and not just a slight sort of change, you know, let's give them another 5 minutes or something. No, utterly different from anything. And actually, I quite like that, because the standard format for the other 5 race weekends will be a 2-hour race. This is Le Mans. I mean, you know, World Endurance Week up here, our standard format is a 6-hour race. This is Le Mans. We don't do a bit more, we do 4 times as much.
You know what?
Yeah, I think it's a really good thing. Come to Le Mans, be prepared to really have an endurance race.
And I hope this works, because it will be, as it should be, the blue ribbon event. And somehow, having 3 hours and a proper endurance format for this, I think raises the ante for that. We have had, by the way, racing on the Friday before, famously during COVID, Fun Cup from VW,
right.
With, I think it was 70-odd cars that year, quite something.
I may possibly have nodded off through that.
But this is a bit special, and all sorts of cars on this grid. It is, of course, the full grid for the 2026 Michelin Le Mans Cup. This is their special race, their blue ribbon event. There's the odd car as well from the European Le Mans Series added here, yeah. And there's others too. There are teams doubling up, tripling up, and drivers from all around the motorsport community, including a couple that are actually doing the one-make races this weekend, getting the opportunity to do an additional race and some more track time. I think, though, only one driver is doing this race and the 24 Hours of Le Mans tomorrow, and that is Valentin
Masiclo. We just saw his car, yeah, the Racing Spirit Le Mans car that leads the LM GT3 points. The GT3 points, because these are not LM GT3 cars, these are GT3 cars. What's the difference, Martin? Technically, they're very slightly different in Le Mans rules racing to a standard GT3 car.
The two big differences we can immediately point to is we don't have the torque sensing technology on these cars, and of course it's the Michelin Le Mans Cup, and it's good years for the GT3 cars, so the tyres are very different. Kessel Racing heavily represented here. They've got cars as well, of course, in the Ferrari Challenge, and of course in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. So Kessel Racing are out in force this weekend. Without these boys and girls, by the way, we wouldn't be racing. So, you know, a tip of the hat. And
over 2,050 marshals from 22 different countries. Here's our pole sitter in the GT3 category.
Look at it.
Yeah, SMC Motorsport.
That's it's not
There's
Steph
Steph.
Wentworth. It's not the pole sitter.
She'll be presenting the highlights package. But yeah, a Gulf McLaren. You can't get funkier than that, can you?
Absolutely brilliant
So
stuff.
SMC Motorsport with the Gulf McLaren, Gonzalo de Andres Martin and Jean-Baptiste Simonauer. JB is not just a racer, but he's a rally driver and a rally crosser as well. Well, we saw Steph Wentworth down on the grid. Let's catch up with one of our drivers, Lorenzo Innocenti.
Hello everyone, I'm Lorenzo Innocenti, driver of the number 17. Hello everyone, joined by Lorenzo Innocenti, driver of the number 17. You have been incredibly quick. What are you expecting going into this race?
It's a long race, so a clean start and a clean sort of first sector, and then get into the rhythm and head down and full focus ahead.
It's a very big grid, 58 cars, including yourself. Do you anticipate there being some close calls?
For sure, as always in these races, especially at the front. But here it's the start is very long, so there's a big gap. So hopefully there's enough time to sort of have a good check as to what's going on and avoid any troubles.
Best of luck, thank you.
Very much.
Lorenzo and his teammate David Fumanelli, hugely experienced sports car racer, particularly in GTs. David Fumanelli, the Kessel Racing Ferrari, the winners last time out, didn't score at all in Barcelona, so they're currently lying third in the standings, but it's absolutely a car to watch. And so car number 17 from Kessel Racing, that Ferrari will start on the right-hand side as the drivers see it, heading down towards the first corner, so on the outside of the front row. And Sarah Bovey, the Grand Marshal this weekend, she'll be in the leading car, leading the field around for the Michelin Le Mans Cup race and also for the 24 Heures du Mans when we start on Saturday. I was going to say morning, of course, afternoon, because it is an afternoon start traditionally for Le Mans 24 Hours. Some familiar names and teams. Kessel Racing also have a dog in the fight in the 24 Hours Le Mans. So too, you also saw their Vector Sports. They will be running an LMP2 car in the 24 Hours Le Mans. And CLX Motorsport also in LMP2 in the 24 Hours Le Mans. And Graham, that's the point of this. It's a race, it's a self-contained race series, yes, but it's the bottom rung of the ladder that can lead you up through European Le Mans Series from LMP3 to LMP3 to LMP2 to into the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Drivers, engineers, teams, everyone. It's the carrot that gets you hooked. You know, it's the cheap drug deal, if you like, that hopefully brings you to the 24 Hours of Le Mans later in the day.
It's fulfilled that brief perfectly over its decade-long history. Another team, by the way, is in both, not Rinaldi Racing in this instance, although they do race in the European Le Mans Series, but United Autosports, they have a McLaren in the GT class. They've also liveried a LMP3 car for another team. Watch out for that one later. Fred Leclerc there in the centre, that is the back rear view rather of the permanent advisor to the ACO, Dr. Wolfgang Ulrich, and of course the president of the ACO, Pierre Fillon, on the grid and showing due respect to this very significant now step on the ACO ladder. Stefan Aust.
Yeah, different looking colours this year. This sort of two-tone green, not immediately what you'd associate with Rinaldi Racing, but it's going to make it pretty easy to spot. They're on row 2 of the grid.
Yeah, Stefan Aust has moved on to LMP2 for most of his racing career, and this is after suffering a really nasty injury in a horrendous shunt with this grid at the very end of the season last year, but great to see him back in action and one of the smiling faces of the ACO paddocks.
And with the purple number backing, we've got two distinct fields in LMP3, these prototypes. With the purple number backing, it's the Pro-Am teams. And so Breton Racing, Jakub Zielonska and Leo Sammy Robinson, they are the leaders after the first two rounds of the championship. Well, our dignitaries are lining up. Second from the right, Bruno Famin, former director of competition at Peugeot, at Alpine, and now the sporting director for the ACO. And
defending champions in LMP3 Pro-Am, Eric de Doncker, the granddaddy of them all in endurance racing.
Well, he's
His history
goes for
back.
that, isn't he?
Well, you know, he's been racing at a properly serious level in endurance racing for what, 30 years now. Was part of the original Stefan Rattel gang, if you like, that re-kick-started modern GT racing, and DKR Engineering back for another go. Won the second race here last year. This is their brand new for 2026 Ligier, which means, Martin, 3 different chassis in 3 years. Last year the Ginetta was successful only here with the Ginetta, and before that the Duquesne chassis.
Nay, Norma. Which is from whence it came, and there are still some of those on the grid as well. Ginetta trying to find a little more traction for their LMP3 car, but I mean, again, it showed that it's got bags of potential. DKR, nobody's fools when it comes to running a car, but they definitely made it work.
This is the lady in charge of the European Le Mans Series, Gaël.
Le jour de gloire est arrivé. Contre nous de la tyrannie, l'étendard sanglant élevé, l'étendard sanglant élevé. Entendez-vous dans vos campagnes mugir ces féroces soldats qui viennent jusque dans vos bras, égorger vos fils et vos compagnes. Aux armes, citoyens, formez vos bataillons, marchons, marchons, qu'un sang impur abreuve nos sillons.
Formidable. Yes. Great rendition of the Marseillaise by Odem. Nicely done. Always tough to stand on a stage as big as this and sing your national anthem unaccompanied. That's, again, anybody who even takes that on has full admiration.
Absolutely right. By the way, the drone shot of this full grid with the teams on parade there, magnificent. Absolutely brilliant. So here we go, Martin. It's a brand new version of the Road to Le Mans, the longest race we've ever had in the series.
Proper voyage of discovery, and the longest support race I think we've ever had here as well. 3 hours this morning.
Tragically not. It's again, it was the front cup on there.
Oh, was it?
7 hours, I think. I think they did a 7-hour race here.
You're making this up as you go along. No, that's a Haven fact if ever I heard one. Sergio Colchemar and David Chu. Look out for these two guys, the CLX Motorsport duo. They gel well together. They've been very successful together, but they didn't have a great qualifying. RHGP, the two cars with the pink highlights, they see them further up the grid. Again, another powerful combination you need to be looking out for, both of those. The Vector Sport car number 15 run with RLR, Geronimo Gomez Atza from Colombia and Enea Frey from Switzerland. And those cars lining up, where are they on the grid? They are on row 5 of the grid, so in the top 10 in qualifying. And the three fields, LMP3, LMP3 Pro-Am and GT3 will be spaced in their grid positions as they come to the line, so it won't be all 198 cars at the same time trying to make it into turn 1. It'll just feel like it. So 8th on the grid from Trajectus Motorsport. Andre Vieira is going to start this car. Shares the number 22 machine with Matthias Poulet. And in the LMP3 category, you can have silvers, golds, platinum drivers. In LMP3 Pro Am, you have to have at least one bronze driver. In fact, there is one team, Ajit Kumar and Roman Wozniak, who are both bronze drivers. So lining up in 7th place on the grid, it is Gael Julien, who you can see helmeting up in the number 7 car for Nielsen. He will take the start, and he shares with Alfie Briggs. So not necessarily having to start your first named driver. You can slice this whichever way you want. And that's going to be part of the interest, I think, for the teams. Saw the Virage team there in the garage. 23 events, winners already this season. They won the last time out in Le Castellet. So again, look out for that car with all the red highlights on it. That should be a front runner here. But how do you split it? You can't get the car to do 90 minutes, so you can't just do a single pit stop. So you've got to then work out how you're going to divide the drive time between your drivers. Do you do just 2 stops, 1/3, 2/3? And then at which stage are you quite close potentially to having a bit of a fuel issue? I mean, it's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to struggle to keep up with this strategically.
And remember, those races were 55 minutes for a reason. Margin on fuel, lots and lots and lots of full throttle action here. By the way, just check that Fun Cup thing. It was 2021. It was a 5-hour race. 100 cars started that race.
What could possibly have gone? Luciano Morano starting in 5th position on the grid for Forestier Racing by VPS. And again, the traditional green of Forestier replaced this year by that blue livery. 4th on the grid, the first car we get to from Brutal Fish by Campos. New entries into the championship this year and coming in with a big head of steam. They've really got some pace behind them. This is Matus Rieber. He will start car number 19 that he shares with Lucas Flusser-Cross, not Lorenzo Flusser, the younger brother of Lorenzo Flusser.
And Matus Rieber, watch for him, Slovakian racer, very quick indeed. RHGP winners of the championship last year, Daniel Frost, Enzo Peugeot, no relation, by the way, to the Peugeot family, famous, of course, for Pepper Mills bicycles and race cars.
Yep, all sorts of things. They start on the inside of row 2 of the grid, so 3rd fastest. And then the front row of the grid, Isaac Barassi, starting for 23 events racing. Look there into our race control room.
3 minutes board on the grid, 3 minutes. Please clear the grid. Clear the grid, 3 minutes board.
Voice of Gwen Boursier, our race director. New dad.
Congratulations.
Yes, indeed. And delighted to welcome his daughter to the endurance racing family.
So Isaac Barassi and Matteo Franco Segre, not names necessarily that you might have associated with the podium if you've been watching the Michelin Le Mans Cup this season, but starting on the front row of the grid, you have to take that number 5 23 events car very seriously indeed.
Jacques Nicolet there on the left in the blue gilet, the patron, if you like, of the Mod Ligier effort. This is, though, Martin Haven, pole sitter.
It is. Arthur Rogion will take the start for Brutal Fish by Campos, and these guys have been fast but unfortunate so far this season, not yet coming away with the podium finish that they have threatened.
But it is the brand new for last year. Gen 3 LMP3 product here. Turbo Toyota power these days, not the low rumble. Take us through the grid.
Yeah, so Arthur Rogion starts on pole position for Brutal Fish by Campos with Isaac Barassi alongside Dan Frost and Matus Rieber on row 2. Luciano Morano and Colin Queen start in row 3, and then row 4, Gael Julien and Andre Vieira behind them. On row 5 of the grid, Lucas Fecuri and Geronimo Gomez Atza ahead of Cedric Ultramar and Tim Gerhards. Lucas Fecuri, as you see there on the inside, Cedric Ultramar behind him. And then Matthias Pluschel starting alongside Stylianos Taxiarchos Kolovos.
1 minute board.
Son of Georgios
Clear the grid, 1
Kolovos.
minute
James
board.
Winslow starts 15th with Philip Lindbergh alongside him for high-class racing. Team Virage's Vic Stevens disappointingly far back down the grid for Team Virage. And then CLX's Kevin Rabat and Julian Chabata. Adit Patel and Max Dodds ahead of Artur Pavi and Christian Danemann Jorgensen. Lena Bula rounds out the 25 cars
30
in
seconds
LMP3.
board, 30 seconds board,
Antti
clear the
Ramo
grid.
and Eric de Donker on the front row of Pro-Am from Jacek Zielonka in third. Look for Steve Parrow starting strongly for Rinaldi. He's got plenty of experience. Fraser Ross ahead of Christian Gysi, Andrew Rackstraw and Amir Naran. Alexander Bukantsov, lots of experience there. And Ajit Kumar, the Indian acting superstar, ahead of the front row in LMGT3. It will be Jean-Baptiste Simonauer.
Green flag, green flag.
Waves
All cars to leave the grid one by one, grid one by one in one line. Start of the formation lap. Reminder, it's only one formation lap.
And as you see these cars pull away, you can see them squirming, not just because they've got lots of horsepower, and they do, and because there's no downforce at this speed, and there isn't, but because it is a chilly morning, and they are on stone-cold tyres on a stone-cold track. So this single formation lap, long though it is, 13.7 kilometers, it's important because they have to build heat in the tyres and in the brakes, because when they come up this rise next time round, it will be in a pack, side by side, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 wide, piling into the first corner. And that's where the tyres have to have the temperature to generate the grip, and especially that's where you need the brakes to be hot, not cold and grabby. So you can see as we look through the fence there from the S's, the view
Let's
of
start
the
moving at the
Goodyear
back of
Bridge.
the grid, please. If the car is not moving, you may overtake. Yeah, move, please catch up with the back of the grid. Let's have a clear, solid line of cars. It's looking really good.
Race director trying to make sure that everybody just gets with the program. If you are a little delayed, you've got 13 odd kilometers to catch the rest of the field up and try and retake your position. This is where the team on the radio to the driver will be really important. Okay, you need to pass 3 cars to get your place back, or 5, or whatever it is, or just stay where you are so the driver doesn't pick up any penalties early on. This could be a long race if you start picking up penalties on the formation lap.
We will have, by the way, a third voice during this race. Delighted that we'll be welcomed once we've got racing underway by Theo Mercouris. Race winner here last year, I believe, in race 1, Theo.
You can't do that to Theo and only bring him in when it's carnage.
All cars to close the gaps, please. All cars to close the gaps. Let's not create gaps which are not useful. Close the gaps. We have instructed the leading to speed up so you can bring more energy in the tires.
Let's talk about this formation lap. I've just said, you know, this is one of the most important parts of the race.
20, please make sure you close the gap.
I mean, the formation lap is a crucial part, especially around here. It's such a long lap, and also the tyres is such a crucial part, especially now. So getting heat in the tyres is probably the most important thing, and that's what can be a race ender if you don't do it properly. So it'll be very interesting to see what the first corner's like, how people manage it going in, how, you know, careful people are, but yeah. We'll see.
Round and down through, well, it's an absolutely massive field here as we get underway. We're asking Theo what he thinks about this this new format, and another step, if you like, on the ACO racing ladder, which you've already scrambled your way up from the bottom and with a title win of the Ligier European Series.
Let's make sure we keep these gaps as closed as possible, ladies and gentlemen.
We get ready to go for what we hope is going to be a successful transition from a sprint to an endurance
98,
format.
close the gaps, please.
Listening still to Gwen Boursier, the race director. Sort of herding cats at the moment, I think it's fair to say.
This has got to be difficult for the drivers as well, particularly if you're on the front row, because you've got to sort of pace yourself, focus on what you're doing, keep the gaps as well, and not get too close to the group in front. If you're in Pro-Am or in GT3, that's a tough ask.
Yeah, especially for the Pro-Am, it's a really tough job because, you know, you've got the pros in front and then you've got the GTs behind, so you've kind of got to manage it, create the gaps in between.
The gap to 20.
But it's always a nice little challenge to see how people do it, because it's always different every race. You see some people use really, really big gaps, and all of a sudden the first corner's really spread out. Some people like to be nice and close, so you really get a mixture. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here, because it's a brand new format, like you say, and it's really exciting to see 3 hours here. I mean, it's absolutely brilliant. For me, I was really looking forward to this race.
62, car 24, 62, 24, close the gap.
Interesting to see a little huddle between all the ELMS pit lane officials going, okay, this is what we really need to focus on. We need to be sharp on this, because, of course, they got to police what everybody's done already. You know, somebody having a big lock up there as they're weaving, and then accelerate as the guy in front's on the brakes. Oh, hang on a minute. Could avoid all those dramas.
Just a quick view there of Anders Fjordbak from High Class Racing. They've got irons in this fire.
Reminder to all teams, exiting MP30. This is the position to start assuming grid position.
This is High Class Racing
24,
in the Michelin Le Mans Cup.
24.
They have just announced that they're taking over the Isotta Fraschini hypercar program for the Asia Le Mans series. So that ladder goes all the way up from here.
Yeah, really. I saw that and I thought, wow, there's a team we've always known they're not short on ambition. They raced in World Endurance in LMP2, and boy, yeah, that's another step.
It's brilliant to see, really. I mean, you're seeing it more and more now, especially with the younger people coming in, such as myself. You're starting to see much more of a ladder into the sort of hypercar route where a lot of people are aiming. You know, for me, obviously, the goal is Le Mans in the hypercar. It's good to see, you know,
leader to start assuming grid position. Leader to start assuming grid position.
Just 22 degrees. It's not warm, so it is this lap that really decides whether you make it round the first corner.
2 by 2, start assuming grid position.
And again, you know, when the driver's getting ready to get into the car, it's important that their engineers go, okay, look at who you're going to be beside. This guy's going to be on your right, or that guy's going to be on your left. That's where you need to position yourself.
Close the gaps. The gaps are too long. 2 by 2, 2 by 2, everyone in 2 by 2.
And actually, that's almost the only thing you need to know.
88, close the gaps.
Beside. Oh, look at this. Right, the safety car, the leading car, Sarah Bovey driving it, our Grand Marshal. Just about to pull out of the way. They'll beetle off for the pits in a moment or two. That doesn't mean the race has started. It just means that we are happy with the formation. Actually, they've come together really nicely. You can see the bright orange a long way down the queue. That's Eric de Donker on the outside of the front row of Pro-Am. And there's another gap back to to GT3 as they come through.
2 clear lines through the grid, 2 clear lines, no overtake, no side movement before the line.
Critical, you have to run through the grid markings on your side of the track before you get to the white line. Somebody's coming into the pit lane already. Is that a problem or a strategy call? We'll have to wait and see.
And green flag, green flag, green flag.
And
Start
we go
is under
green.
Investigation. Start is under investigation.
At the start of this 3-hour epic for Road to Le Mans, we go green with Arthur Rochon hitting the front. Somebody's already trailing massive wreaths of smoke. There has been contact already before we got to the Dunlop curve. A couple of cars, as ever, taking to the inside through the Dunlop chicane. Who was that trailing smoke? The white and blue car. Was that the Forestier Racing car number 29? If it was, that's an absolute disaster for them. M Racing and Team Virage have both dropped way back down the order at the start.
RSGP, though, making their way forwards, and there's chaos in the GT3 ranks. That's the 95 United Auto Sports car getting away. The M Racing car, not the M Racing car, that is a 99 car.
So 42 pitted with a problem with their door, but it is RSGP who lead this, and it's a 5-car battle for second.
More racing, the number 99 car sideways. Let's wait and see if that car can rejoin.
So Daniel Frost with the pink highlights leading the race. Brutal Fish by Campos and 2-3 events. Under braking, 68 with a problem. Contact and damage to the left rear, and that is spewing water.
Yeah, that is an M Racing car. That's a Team Ferrari number 70 in the gravel. 51, one of the AF Corsa Ferraris. So yeah, we're going to have. There's certainly going to be an intervention of some
sort. We will be
here.
deploying slow zone 1 in less than 30 seconds. We will ask the drivers to bear totally right at MP2. Totally right at MP2 and use the runoff at MP3.
So that is the Dunlop chicane. We're talking about MP is Marshall's post, 1, 2 and 3. That's Dunlop curve and up through the chicane. And again, side by side, still for second, 23 events on the inside. That's Colin Queen and Dan Frost.
2, 1.
Now these
slow zone 1 is
zones
active.
Don't apply to the field until they get there. So you can see on the map the slow zone at the first run through the first corner. As we come down to Mulsanne corner, we're half a lap away.
It's 23 events, fending off the efforts by Matthias Grieber in the second of the Brutal
Someone
Fish
getting
cars.
pushed off in the background as well.
There's a lot of bumping and boring here.
Well, gee, colour me surprised. All right, and then our Pro-Am field is coming through as well. So number 8 car, the bright pink BWT Muka car, that's Matthias Pluxell under pressure. And that is a battle just inside the top 10. And again, side by side. Change for position, yes it was. That was Nielsen's number 7, Gail Julien going ahead of Izek Barashi in car number 5, the other red and white 23 events car. So 5 and 50 of the 223 events cars. You can see the 50 machine still there. Oh, and getting turned around, the number 5 car, or being turned around on the throttle, but looping out of Arnage. There's an awful lot of traffic coming.
That's a horrible place to try and rejoin as well.
Izek Barashi was. Did he jump or was he pushed? We'll tell you, gentlemen, that just one car has not made it through timing sector 1. That is the beached number 70 Virage car of Vic Stevens.
Yeah. So jumping away, Arthur Rogion and the CLX Motorsport 87 car, and that is Arthur Jacobi and Kevin Rabin. That car again trailing smoke from loose bodywork. But look at the lead that Arthur Rogion has built up over the 3 cars behind. That's the second place car with the pink highlights. RSGP's Daniel Frost, then Colin Queen and Matthias Grieber, and then Gail Julien just Gail Julien just a little further back and getting tangled up.
No, that was just he just hit the curb.
Yeah, too much curve into there. It's a very tricky corner and the curve's been catching a lot of people out, and now we're into a slow zone as well, and that's also a tricky one. First lap of the race, everyone's just got the adrenaline going and they're all having to slow down. Damage
to the front of, I think that was one of the Nielsen cars.
That's the Nielsen number 7 car, yeah.
I believe there was contact before the start. I think that was with, I'm not sure which car it was, but that was the car that was trailing smoke going into the first corner.
Yeah. So that was the 15 car, that's the Vector Sport RLR car of Geronimo Gomez-Atza.
There's a car that spun on the last corner before the slow zone.
Well, that always happens, doesn't it? Because they come piling into the final chicane and then everything's stationary in front of them. And so, yeah, here at the start now, about 3 rows back, you can see a blue car already trailing damage. So it was before they even got into grid formation, that contact. That's 29.
Yeah, you were right, that was indeed the Forestier cars. There's also a car well out of position outside the defined grid hatchings. I think there's going to be trouble there. All sorts of shenanigans. I'm hearing in my right ear that Ligier have dispatched a second spares truck to cope with demand.
Yeah. And you saw the damage on the right front of the Nielsen car. It's there as they go through shot, just hard to see in that shot. But and the number 7 Nielsen car started the row behind the 29 car. Ajit Kumar spinning out on fluid from the leaking radiators, and it was that water. We saw that one of the LMP3 cars was pouring water out of the side pod. It's that fluid that caused all the trouble in GT3.
I think that was a 68 racing car, and there was further trouble still on fluid.
Yeah.
The 29 car still trailing smoke.
Yeah.
All sorts of shenanigans.
And that was self-induced, wasn't it, out of Arnaud, just dropped a wheel down over the bottom of the track.
So we've got 4 cars on pit lane with a variety of damage. Number 2, Rally Racing car, Stelianos Kolovos, son of, and that leap over that was properly airborne. The Vector Sport RLR car of Geronimo.
Getting that really, really at 6s and 7s.
I'm stopping myself from saying that the radio call would have been Geronimo.
Yeah. You're not, though, are you?
No, I'm not. 87 CLX Motorsport car, Kevin Rabin on pit lane, as is the 29, that damage for SDA Racing by VPS, Luciano Morano, and Michael Burke, United Autosports, McLaren, also on pit lane. They're the 4. 2 cars stopped out on circuit. It is the number 68 from Hayden Chance. I think that might be the car with a punctured radiator. And then the Team Virage car of Vic Stevens that was stranded in the gravel. So there's Vic Stevens being recovered to the circuit, so he will restart, albeit a lap down.
But actually, he's in a better position than these guys who are having to repair the floor or somebody with a damaged radiator, because he's got 2 hours and 52 minutes and he's only a lap down. The chances are actually they might not have as bad a race as these guys.
I think we should get to the stage where, I know in the realms of fighter pilots, there is a club, the Martin Baker Club. When you've used an ejector seat, you get a tie. I think in LMP3, when you've lost one of the legality panels, there should be a pin or something, because it would be a popular club. And what we
I
do
think you'd
know,
run out of room on your T-shirt pretty
absolutely,
quickly.
but it happens very regularly. So just to explain what we're talking about there, you can see the guys from FIA Racing going to work on the right rear of this car. That wedge-shaped piece of carbon fibre that includes the lights is an absolute legality panel. You must have that attached. They are quite vulnerable in traffic, and all too often we do see teams with a pretty good run having to come in and make those repairs, and it's not quick, is it?
No, not at all. I think I've had one fall off before, and it's certainly not an ideal situation. Luckily, it wasn't in a race, but, you know, when you're fighting so hard, anything can happen, and it's always the first part to go as well.
And you can see the mechanics there trying to put in the metal stay that holds it in place, because it's an aerodynamic device as well, so it's subject to a lot of aero load. They're fumbling around in gloves trying to put those little bolts through shackles and so on, so it's not an easy job. Why are they wearing gloves? Well, it is cold outside, but actually it's because the car's so darn hot.
Hot
and also
and sharp.
And also
sharp.
They're working on the car, so they have to be in fireproofs.
So we're on to full course yellow. Let's a good moment to just look back after the, how can we put this, action of the first lap. Brutal Fish by Campos, Arthur Rogion leads the race, and with a gap, by the way, to the next battling pack, which is led by Daniel Frost, the RSGP 85, the first of the Ducanes. 6 Ducanes, by the way, in this car. 23 events, Colin Queen. Matus Reba in the second Brutal Fish by Campos car, and Gail Julien, and that damaged front damage to that Nielsen Racing number 7 Duquesne. That is your top 5 in the Pro-Am class. High-class racing's Andrew Rackstraw leads the, as we're watching here, that is one.
That's the Blackthorn Aston, and that's a Curia Cos car, and it's got a punctured right rear. So again, that first lap Farrago. I mean, the benefit now for these guys, and actually I will reverse what I said about that number 70 Virage car, because it's full course yellow, the Virage car is not making up any ground, whereas the people who are in the pit lane are losing less than they would have if the circuit was still green.
Yeah, so Michael Burks, by the way, in the United McLaren has left pit lane. Let's just go through the classes at the moment, so we've got a moment with looking at the Raspberry Ripple livery on this Curiacos Blackthorn car. High-class racing's Andrew Rackstraw, 17th overall, leads LMP3 Pro-Am, the class that it has to include a bronze-rated driver. Remainder of the top 5, D-Car Engineering's Antti Ramo, who started from pole in that class. Jacek Zelonka in the Breton Racing 62, who lead the championship, running 3rd. Louis Stern in CLX Motorsports 37 is 4th. And then Motorsport 98's Eric Dodonka, who started on the front row of the class, has dropped in that Ferrari to 5th.
Well, SMC Motorsport leading in GT3 ahead of the Biogas Motorsport and Get Speed. Code Racing's AMR, the Aston Martin, up to 4th place. Blackthorn, and we saw the high-class Porsche in the pit lane as well. That's damage to the front. There is the high-class car. That's a good-looking livery as well, isn't it?
Isn't it just? This has changed the livery after race 1 here for high class. Well, that's a great start from SMC Motorsport with the McLaren. Biogas Motorsport, what a turnaround in fortunes year on year. You may recall, that is a damaged wheel.
It's got damaged skirt at the side, it's got damage to the splitter, it's had a torn apart rear tyre. That high-class car has been in the wars. I don't know quite who may or may not have run into them. The 90 car of Charles Bateman started kind of 7 rows back in GT3, and the high-class car was a row and a bit ahead, Max Moritz, but clearly when everybody was hitting that fluid, and that's another thing that's going to be attended to, I'm sure, in the Dunlop chicane, the marshals will have seen there was fluid.
We're back to green flag racing now, and away we go, and immediately there's contact as the car's trying to rejoin, and that is Colin Queen being impacted from the rear, and it's immediately damaged too. That's the 15 car that had the run over. It was flying through the air at the Ford chicane.
Well, doing his very best to rejoin, assisted by the marshals in that little gap. Here comes the GT3 field, a very slow Ferrari at the back. Not quite sure what was going on there, but this is the issue, you know, when it goes green, you have to be releasing the pit speed limiter or the full course yellow limiter instantly and back on the throttle, and if you don't, bang, you get hit from behind. It's like sitting at a set of traffic lights in Paris.
SMC Motorsports McLaren is absolutely flying, getting into the lead group in LMP3 Pro Am as we get back up to speed here.
Well, this is another point. We were talking about the cold tyres. Obviously, we've seen how crucial it is now, but also the GT cars are much quicker to warm up their tyres. So for a lot of the amateurs in the Pro-Am category, it's really tricky to stay ahead of the GT cars because for the first couple of laps, they can end up being quicker.
We are going to go back to another slow zone, by the way, zone 6 and 7. And that will come in about 30 seconds' time.
In that Gulf McLaren, JB Simonauer, racer, rallyer, and rallycrosser. Does he care about cold tyres? Not slightly.
We will be deploying slow zone 6 and 7 in 10, 9.
But he is now up to 20th place.
5.
He's
4,
actually in among
3,
LMP3 and Pro-Am cars.
Slow zone 6 and 7 are active.
All right, so that was at Arnage.
I believe did it by himself.
Yes.
Yeah. We have marshals exposed at
MP27.
We have marshals exposed at MP26 and MP27.
Trouble 55 Ferrari. The way I saw that, Theo, was he ran wide at Arnage. Looked like he got spun the wheels up, hit one of the trackside markers, and spun himself out.
Yeah, exactly. Losing traction is very easy with the cold tyres, and as you can see, it's a very crucial part. And lose the rear like that, tap the wall, and there's nothing you can do.
Well, we have a 1-2 now for Brutal Fish by Campos. Artur Rojan leading Matthias Rieber, then RHGP's Daniel Frost.
55, please advise us if you can rejoin.
That's the red Ferrari, and that car driven by Francesco Piovanetti. And there is the high-class Porsche out of the pits.
Please advise
Leaders
us
coming
if you
by
can
him.
rejoin.
There's the 55 car at the top of the picture. Just too much of that inside curb in the first sector of the Ford chicane.
I'll tell you, by the way, that the United McLaren is back on pit lane. So that came in, went out, has come straight back in again as we've gone back to briefly full course green flag running, but now with slow zones in place.
Okay, so the first 2 cars, the Brutal Fish cars, they've put a lap on that Kyriakos Porsche. Not Porsche, high-class Porsche. It's the Kyriakos Aston Martins. And then here's the battle for 3rd place. Damage carried on that number 7 car. Now, in a 55-minute race, losing a splitter or a dive plane at the front or having that nose damage, sort of survivable. 3 hours.
Car 55, please rejoin, otherwise tell us and we will come to recover the car. 55.
So, mild frustration being shown here.
Mild? Look at these, the Mercedes and the Aston Martin carving their way through the LMP3 cars as they get to the slow zone. And it's,
we have marshals exposed at 26-27, marshals exposed at 26-27.
Now, some cars here,
There's a car
yeah, I was going to say, aren't going as quickly as all the other cars, and this is an issue. So somebody there's engaged their limiter, but they haven't. They somehow appear to have stopped the car.
Jacek Delonka, we think, and that, I think, is the
and got it
championship
going.
leader.
All cars in one line in slow zone, please. All cars in one line in slow zone.
Now, that's a feature, and I know that's a line, really, but that is something I think you can explain, Theo, as to what you think. He was coming into the slow zone, and he's made a mistake.
One line of cars
we
in
don't know
slow
yet,
zones.
obviously, but one thing about these cars, if you hit the brake and the throttle at the same time, if you hit it hard enough and you go in a certain speed, it hits something called panic mode. And panic mode is not something you want, as you can tell by the name. Basically, it switches the whole car off, and you have to turn the ignition off, the master switch, everything. Full restart, and obviously it loses you quite a bit of time.
That's slightly not how the manufacturer intended that car to look. No. Right, so there you go. We're learning something every day. We learned about gravel mode the other night.
We did.
In the Ferraris, yeah.
I've not heard that yet.
The Ferraris have a gravel mode.
I'm hearing, by the way, that is the limited edition Aston Martin disadvantage.
Now, who's this with a bit of rear wing sort of flapping up at the back? I'm not sure that's the R&R 15 car, isn't it?
That's RHGP.
Or both of them.
No, sorry, that's the front end of the Nielsen car there, and then behind that is the 15.
Yeah, no, so it was the bit that was sticking up. I was going, that still hasn't come off. So Geronimo Gomez Atza. And this is the 70 car, I think, that was off in the gravel earlier, isn't it? With it's lost an inspection panel as well. So our LMP3 Pro-Am leader, Andrew Rackstraw, now up to 12th overall, and in 18th, JB Simonau in the Gulf McLaren, who leads in GT3.
Yeah. Can't help thinking, by the way, that when Boursier, to say, new father, when his daughter gets to be a teenager, he's going to find it easy after this.
Yeah, a man of infinite patience. There's, you know, these initial laps are always difficult because you've got this massive fast-moving metal and very little margin for error. And Theo, once we actually start to get into the meat of the race and there's a few more gaps, and particularly when we're sort of 30 minutes in or so, and people are starting at trying to do funky things with pit stops, then the field gets spread out, and then everything should start to become a little clearer. It looks like
that's what you would expect anyway.
That's what they want them to think.
There's the voice of experience. The high-class Porsche left the pit lane and has come back in again.
Yeah.
So obviously all not well with that, but we are here. This is again our group for third place. Daniel Frost with the pink highlights, Gael Julien right behind, and Geronimo Gomez in the wheel tracks with the black, red and gold, of course, of his native Germany. His Colombian, so it's a sort of interesting colour combo. I mean, it's a very sort of early 70s German DTM kind of livery.
So the survivors continue.
We've got a good fight here for third, but the two Campos cars just seem to be disappearing.
Yeah. They are 5 seconds clear. What we got here? Another spinner. That's the 22 car. That is the Trajectories Motorsport car.
10.
The Intereuropol car saw his life flashing in front of him there, didn't he?
Slow zones 6
That's the infamous
and
corner.
slow zone 7.
The infamous corner where everyone loses it. The curb is basically not your friend through there.
Here we go, change in position, and it's Duquesne on Duquesne action. Nielsen Racing going through with Gael Julien, 2 years ago, and European Le Mans Series champion.
Slow zone 6 and 7 remove in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow zone removed.
We're back to full green flag running. So Gael Julien up into third place. What can he do, though, about what is a 10-second gap to the leader with Arthur Rougion, Mathis Rieber, 1-2 for Brutal Fish by Campos, and a pretty equidistant Rougion, Rieber and Julien. 2 hours 39 minutes to go. Plenty of time to go. What can they do about this? Very, very busy in the mid-pack here.
See the BMW looking like a double-decker bus in the middle of all the prototypes there. GT3 car in the pit lane. Which of the Astons is that?
That is
That's 11, isn't it? That was
the code racing car.
Yeah, the code racing
Moreno.
car. So I'm not quite sure what their
There's a
issue
lock
was.
up there.
Yeah, win one, lose one. Easy come, easy go. Wasn't easy to take the position, but Nielsen car goes up the ladder and finds a snake. So Gael Julian loses that place to Daniel Frost, and Geronimo Gomez Atza goes by as well. Doesn't take much, Theo, to give away traction. You think, well, he only rode over the gravel a little bit, but of course then your wheels are spinning, you're not accelerating, and so down the next straight, dead in the water, they come by you.
Yeah, Ligier leading the race. After that, we've got just one Ligier in the next 5 cars, because the Duquesnes are beginning to hunt in packs. So,
that is the more traditional Acurious liveried, Acuriacos liveried.
Big slide by the damaged Ligier. That's going to give the Nielsen racing car a chance to get alongside. Now we'll see who's got straight line speed.
The differentially damaged Nielsen racing car.
I think he's lost that debris from the rear though now.
Yeah. No, the bit of rear bodywork is still there on the RLR car, and the bit of front bodywork is still trying to peel its way off on the Nielsen car. So another few laps at high speed, and they might either separate, or the mechanics are going to have to do a bit of work on them once they come into the pit lane.
Here comes the SMC car, still leading. And still making his way up, by the way, up now into the LMP3 class runners.
Oh yeah,
13th overall, Jean-Baptiste Simonauer.
I think JB thinks I'm going to win this, and I don't mean just in GT3.
Well, he's got a 14-second gap to his nearest class rival. That is Fran Rueda. And what is that? It is 8 places overall between them, so building up quite the gap.
It really is something that mixes the race up, because the GT cars really aren't much slower in a straight line here.
Well, let's take a pause from the on-track action and pop down to Steph. She is on pit lane, and with Andrew Rackstraw to see how he sees the way things are going so far.
Andrew Rackstraw, driver of the number 49 High Class Racing. We've just seen you jump out of the car. Just describe that first stint for you. We saw you come in with a little bit of damage.
It is chaotic, absolutely chaotic, which is what we expected. This is one of the reasons I started the race. It's usual for the bronze to start, so we've taken a bit of a gamble. Qualifying wasn't great. We'll see if it pays off. There was contact a little bit, but we're still running, and that's the main. I don't think it's affecting us that much, but we're both having fun. Michael's in the car now. I'm sure he has a smile on his face, and for me, that's the most important. So
we'll have to see you back in the car later, obviously, for you to complete your full stint. What do you expect towards the end of the race? Do you think it's going to calm down?
It's a long race. Anything can happen, and we literally take lap for lap, and then we take it as it comes. It's quite a South African style to take it as it comes, but I'm feeling ready. Michael is absolutely buzzing. The team has done an amazing job. Very early morning for them, so I'm looking forward to getting back in the car again.
Best of luck. We'll see you later.
Thank you very much.
Interesting, and actually that's probably really good thinking. Start with your most accomplished driver to try and survive the opening few laps, and then once it starts to calm down, they came into the pit lane, in goes their gentleman driver, get him in, get him to do a full stint.
Trouble, I think, for the BW. Now that might well be a timing glitch. We did see Matthias Pluschkel plummet down the order, but he's popped back up, so that must have just been a timing glitch in that sector. Here, though, is the increasingly impressive SMC Motorsport car, Jean-Baptiste Simonauer, having the race of his life here.
He really is. There you can see him 13th overall. Ajit Redant, that car is dropping down the order. And yeah, Stefan Aust and Eric Jadonka seem to be doing so as well. So maybe there is a little bit going on. There's Philip Saga getting crossed up, and right behind an LMP3 car, very much on the dirt and into the barriers.
I think it caught him out, the sideways moment from the that is the 62 car. That is our championship leading car in LMP3 rather, Pro-Am. I think he got caught out by the moment ahead of him. and the Aston Martin had sort of reacted.
It's also not the first moment for that car. We saw it in trouble right on lap 1, didn't we? So
did notice, by the way, the cheese wedge, the Galaxy panel on the rear of that car was awry, and I think he's going to have to pit to get that fixed.
Well, when you welt the barriers like that, then something's going to come off, isn't it?
Fastest lap of the race, by the way, has gone to the race leader, Arthur Roujon, 3:54, 3:57. He is pulling away from Matthias Rieper, who is pulling away from Daniel Frost.
Yeah, Roujon absolutely flying. Now 7 seconds ahead of his teammate, and Daniel Frost a further 7 seconds back. So those are the gaps. BF by Campos, Brutal Fish by Campos first, second and third. So 37, this is the battle for second place. CLX Motorsport, the first of these cars, and that is Louis Stern and Fraser Ross right behind the GG Classics car, not Graham Goodwin GG, but a different GG. So that is the battle for second in LMP3 Pro-Am. And again, both these cars have had decent starts to the season in terms of pace.
Yes, indeed. GG Classics, real turn of form of late. Switching around with their strategy and their driver lineup. Car 90, meanwhile, is under investigation for a full course yellow infringement, an emergency pit stop for that car. That was the Blackthorn Icaria Cos car, the Raspberry Ripple liveried car.
And right behind the GG Classics car, that's not the ANS Motorsport car, is it? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
yeah.
Ooh, and a little lock-up, just a couple of cars behind them as well. 78, who's at the wheel of that M Racing car? It's Daniel Goldberg.
That's Daniel is the gentleman driver from IMSA for United Autosports, and this is his first run here, first time I think in an LMP3 car, and he's well up there. This is good stuff from them.
M Racing run by Justine Monnier and Ivan Muller. Yes, that Ivan Muller. And again pinching it, he's going inside.
That's the 22 car he's inside of there. Couldn't quite make it. That's the car we saw in trouble a little while ago, the Trajectus Motorsport car. Trajectus Motorsport, by the way, team owned by Benoit Treluet, three-time winner of this great race. Not this great race. You can see there the 78 car with Dan Goldberg aboard is a United Autosports livery car, but not being run by them.
Kind of-ish. And the 23 car, the Biogas Ferrari, Fran Rueda went by. Fran Rueda, again, proper world-class driving talent, the Spaniard. And so that Ferrari is second in GT3, 20th overall, and JB Simonauer has passed the LMP3 car of Cedric Ultramar. Nobody's fool in a P3 car. Jean-Baptiste Simonauer is up to second place. Is that actually a GT3 Gulf McLaren, or is it a Gulf Longtail F1 GTR? It seems to have that sort of pace about it.
Looks great, going well, and a team with no little ambition here. SMC Motorsports, based in Barcelona.
Another slow zone coming, and that will be at the entrance to the Porsche curves.
Damage 23, it's not a 23 events car, is it? But that you can see well.
Left rear puncture, but that's been contact. You can see the side of the car. Yeah, so this is the car that was in the top 5 early on. And don't forget, slid wide out of Arnage, walloped the tyre stack with that left side rear. And that's where the puncture will have come from eventually. And the Biogas Ferrari, second in GT3. Dan Goldberg between them, the M Racing Pro-Am car. And then the Get Speed Mercedes. Steve Jantz is lingering right behind that black Get Speed Mercedes. The M Racing car with pace on the straight. And the damaged car behind, the Icaria Cos Blackthorn Aston Martin of Giacomo Petrobelli, who's done his own redesign on the nose of the car. Not sure it's worked quite as well as the original, but that is still going and in 4th place in GT3. So, Theo Mercouris, this is actually starting to settle down a little bit. We're seeing racing rather than just trying to survive other people's accidents.
I think you might have just jinxed it. We'll have to see, but I mean, I was meant to be doing this race, and we came into it with basically the strategy of just pitting every 40, 50 minutes and basically just seeing what happens with the safety cars, because you all know it's going to come at some point. You don't know when, you don't know what, but just basically try and survive, get ready, and then if something happens, be ready to pounce, because any moment can flip the race upside down. So we say it's nice and calm for now. They've done a whole push lap. They've done one push lap with no slow zones, which is pretty rare around here.
I think somebody should get a badge for that, without a shadow of a doubt. It's like the Cub Scouts. The 50 car, by the way, we saw that car coming down pit lane with a left rear puncture and significant bodywork damage as a result. That's a significant moment in the championship. That's the second place car, the number 50, Colin Queen. We saw having that moment at Arnage. They, so far this season, have had a win and a second place. This is not going to be either of those.
The thing that might save them is this pit stop might mean they can go to the end. So we're at the point now where if you do enough fuel saving, you might be able to stretch it on the pit stops.
With one more.
Yeah.
It's a 3-hour race.
Yeah. So we've got, was it minimum 3 pit stops here? Right. So you've got to stretch it out anyway, but the fuel only lasts about 55 minutes. So if you pit about this point now, you can make it to the end if you do enough fuel saving. You can just about make it, but it will be tricky.
So every slow zone is your friend there, isn't it? But you are sort of having a bit of an gambler.
It does explain, Martin Haven, why we heard that screaming noise a couple of nights ago from over towards the Road to Le Mans paddock, and that would have been the strategist meeting trying to work out the best way of doing this.
Well, I did sort of think quietly, and I didn't want to say it, that maybe starting from the pit lane would have been the finest strategy of all, because then you've got more of your car left when you get to the first corner.
Well, we're seeing it now. I mean, half the cars that were racing for P3, P4 have already picked up lots of damage.
Yeah.
Daniel Frost has caught the second place car of Matthews Rieber, so that gap has come well down and very quickly. Now that's come down around a slow zone. Has the Daniel Frost car just been lucky in the points at which that's been lifted?
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? If you hit a slow zone and you're restricted to 80 kilometers for, you know, a few hundred meters, half a kilometer, 1 kilometer, but the cars behind you are still going flat out and the slow zone no longer exists when they get there, then yes, they have a massive advantage.
Well, let me tell you that advantage. Last lap around with the slow zone in place for at least part of the lap for all three of these cars. 4:25.8 for Arthur Roshan leading the race. We're going to get some drive-through penalties, by the way, to deal with for the 7, the 15, the 87 and the 62. That start procedure. 4:25.8 for the leader, 4:22.3 for the second place car, 4:15.4 for Daniel Frost. So he's picked up 10 seconds simply with the slow zone in place for the lead car and not for him.
In fact, everybody did, apart from the top 2 cars. The Brutal Fish by Campos cars, who were first and second, hit that slow zone and lost 10 seconds, and everybody else behind didn't. And so suddenly, all of that hard work, whoosh. Okay, now drive-through penalties coming through, Graham. Cars 7 and 15.
7 is
Nielsen's
Gail
Julian, who's
yep.
in 4th, and 15, the RLR aviating car, that's in 7th place. 87 and 62.
87 is a CLX Motorsport car, and I think that was a car that was in early trouble, wasn't it?
And 62 will be Jacek Zlonka,
is.
the championship leader.
There you go. So these are significant penalties to come. Black and orange flag meanwhile for car 91. That will be the damaged Aston Martin. To give you an idea of just the impact that slow zone timing has had, coming into the slow zone, the gap first to third was 16 seconds. Coming out with the slow zone having been lifted, 16 seconds takes you down to 9th. And a flying Lena Bühler, who is the only car in that group under 4:10 last time around.
And first to second has gone down from, first to third has gone down from 16 seconds to 7 seconds. Again, look at the difference between these cars, Theo. You're in the LMP3, you've got better top speed, but that mechanical grip of the biogas Ferrari just allowed Fran Rueda to just drive by like you're some sort of pedestrian out shopping there at Arnage. And
that's trouble for the Ferrari, and then I think again, maybe even in avoidance, and then on P3, DJ going off on the exit of Mulsanne corner. Giacomo Petrobelli pushing on, but he has got the black and orange flag now. Meantime, by the way,
that's Arnold Robin, by the way, in the WRT BMW in full motorsport livery almost, going by Petrobelli, so taking a place away. But also, into the pits has come the to serve the penalty, number 15 car, Geronimo Gomez-Atza.
Yeah, meantime, by the way, in the lead of the GT3 race, and courtesy of that penalty for the 15, SMC Motorsport are into the top 10 overall. Absolutely fantastic.
I told you he's going to win this. drive solo. Is there a rule against driving solo?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah, probably.
See, we've seen it before, even in Asian Le Mans, the GT3 is going to end up beating the LMP3s because they are quicker on the cold tyres, they're a bit easier to drive. I mean, these things are beasts, the LMP3s.
Right, we just saw the number 15 car coming back out in this queue. Vector Sport RLR, 17th now in LMP3, so a long way from points, but a long way still to go. And we have to remember now as well, also, that car has already done one pit stop, but not a pit stop. So when we think, oh, they've done 2 stops already, they don't need to stop, they still do, because one was a penalty.
There you go. Last time around, Daniel Frost did not take the opportunity. Sorry, Gail Julian did not take the opportunity to take the penalty. This is the 50 car, and that looks like bad news for 23 events.
And that's the sort of flip side of this coin. You get this monster 3-hour race, but what you don't get if you have bad luck in race 1 at Road to Le Mans is the opportunity to go again on Saturday morning and try again. And so there is no, there's no okay, well, we can try again on Saturday morning. This is now all or nothing.
Yeah, it was nice last year to sort of get a race done and it's like, you know what, we can go again. We can learn from it, keep going. This year, not so much. It all builds on one race. So even though it's nice and long, you've got the pressure of doing it first try, which a lot of people, you can see the pressure's adding up.
Trouble for the 24 car. That is beached. I think that's the Racing Spirit Le Mans car, is it not?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he was in 13th place, so not in the points.
Oh, he's clattered the barrier as well.
He's hit everything in sight, hasn't he? And then into the gravel as well, a Terre Rouge, and so that will be, is already a slow zone. And so Marshals have to go and recover that. Back with car number 12, our race leader, so Arthur Rogion, Brutal Fish by Campos. I mean, it's been an ambitious project, 2-car team, makes a lot of sense, but, you know, they've come in from zero experience of endurance racing at this kind of level and built a 2-car team and hit the ground running. Right from the pre-event prologue in Barcelona, they had pace. They haven't taken their time to get up to speed, Theo, and that's impressive, and it shows that Campos Racing mean business.
I think we've had a significant moment with the introduction of that slow zone, because I think the leader got through before it came in, and everybody else didn't. The gap has suddenly gone up from, looking at the second sector, he picks up 16 seconds in that sector.
Yeah, his second sector was 127 seconds. Matis Riba, his teammate, 143, and now we're into 150, 160 seconds for that second sector. Second sector is the Mulsanne Straight, so it's only the beginning of the Mulsanne that's under a slow zone, but when you have to come onto the Mulsanne Straight from 60 miles or kilometers an hour, not 180 kilometers an hour, it makes a big difference to how fast you are down the straight. There's JB Simonow just gone through shot, and so this is the Aditya Patel and Christian Jorgensen battle just behind. Those 2 cars, 36 and 43, battling for the final point at the moment in LMP3.
If you are watching, by the way, and keen to get an update on what's going on with Ajit Kumar, the other Ajit Red and by Farage car. Ajit did get caught up in all the shenanigans on the first lap, but has rejoined. He's running just outside the top 10 in LMP3 Pro Am.
Still seeing this great battle for second in GT3. The biogas Ferrari Fran Rueda just ahead of the Get Speed Mercedes. And just behind you saw Daniel Goldberg venturing across the gravel, losing a place to the recovering number 15 car. And so that Vector Sport RLR car, Geronimo Gomez-Atza, now moves up a spot into 17th in LMP3. And this is why we've got the slow zone. Marshals there must be getting quite used to taking a step back from the barriers. They hear the rattle coming down, the zing of the barriers.
Yeah, it's certainly not a nice corner to go off the track. I mean, it's a bit of an intimidating one because you go over a crest and you're completely blind. You're going, where's the track, where am I going? And all of a sudden you arrive at the corner and you're thinking, okay, I'm fine this lap.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you go 1 centimetre too wide and it's over.
And the track drops away dramatically. Double stacking RHGP, 85 and 86 in. So Daniel Frost and Lena Bula both in the pit lane now. Is there going to be a driver change? There's a cheese wedge for somebody to pick up later.
That was a CLX Motorsport car. I think that was a 37 car, shedding weight and parts as it went.
A host of pit stops right on the 40-minute mark. So who's not in? Because that's a much shorter list. There's DKR. Brutal Fish by Campos first and second, not in. Nielsen not in from third. BWT Muka from fourth. Nielsen from fifth. Forestier Racing by VPS from sixth position. And of course JB Simenow from seventh overall now has yet to pit in that Gulf McLaren run by SMC Motorsport. So fuel going in, and this will undoubtedly feature driver changes as well.
GT3 cars should be able to go a little longer on the fuel load. Remember that FIA-ranked Motorsport's Frank Moreda fancies a bit of this. He's actually stayed out, and he's now running 9th overall.
Yeah, the Get Speed car is in, so is the WRT BMW that was 4th. Kessel Racing 5th and 6th in GT3 there in the pits as well. And you can see now our Pro-Am leader, the 78 M Racing car, Daniel Goldberg, he stayed out. Alexander Bukantsov stayed out. Steve Parrow for Rinaldi, the 66 car, stayed out and is third now in Pro-Am. So there's one of the two Ajit Red Ant cars. That was their better placed.
No,
that wasn't. That was Ajit Kumar.
It's actually getting out the car. Sorry, Theo.
I don't want to jinx it, but this could be a masterstroke from the RHGP car, because they've obviously come into the pit lane and there's no slow zones to benefit them on the start-finish straight. But if they clear the car going into the Mulsanne straight and all of a sudden they get a clear sector, they can gain almost a minute on the leaders here.
Absolutely right, Berg. That's exactly the kind of thinking I'm sure they're doing here. We've seen that the 24 car is already on the end of the hook. How quickly can they actually clear it? Well, we're just about to find out. These are not short pit stops, remember. These will be timed pit stops for these cars. 6 car being pushed back, and we'll rejoin very shortly.
They're actually quite relaxing. You'd be surprised. You get in the car, sort of lie down a little bit, get strapped in, and then you just sort of sit there for a while.
Cup of tea.
Yeah. Maybe a snack.
Fast car on the way back out. Daniel Frost brought it in. I'm sensing that he and Leila Bula will not still be in those RHGP cars when they head back out.
Well, Daniel is shown as being in the car.
Yeah, but he hasn't exited the pit lane.
That was Leila Bula's car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he has.
Okay.
And Lena, too, is still aboard the car, so they're going long with. And you know what? You could be right. There's going to be at least some advantage here, because we will go back, I'm sure, to full green flag running as soon as those two gentlemen have made their way back to a place of safety.
Yeah, the problem is cars leaving the pit lane now will encounter that slow zone.
But not all of it.
But not all of it. We'll have to compare the second sector, but they could gain a big chunk of time here.
It's
because
only
the
really
leaders have had to do the whole of sector 2 now.
They will only really know when it winds out once we've seen the pit stops from the leading group that did not pit.
Yeah.
Still that damage to the rear of the Vector Sport RLR car. That came courtesy of the airborne. Well, it wasn't a moment, flew further than the Wright brothers did here. And of course, they did make the very first, I think, European flight from the centre of this circuit.
Yeah, powered flight. As opposed to the Montgolfier brothers, who were balloonists. Dave Goldberg, sharing with Wayne Boyd, who has spent an awful lot of time racing in United Autosports cars over the years.
And he'll be, I'm sure, mighty aboard that car when he gets in shortly. So waiting still for that slow zone to be withdrawn.
I think they might gain a little bit of time. It's going to go green in about 15 seconds.
So they are going to get, what is that? About a half of the run down to the first chicane.
The problem is that the cars that stayed out have been green the whole way.
No, they run through the slow zone.
Yes, but so has everybody who's just come out of the pit lane. So
now we go green.
Yeah. It's, yeah.
Well, let's see.
The second half of the field that pitted, not the front runners that pitted, will have benefited from that. BWT Muka battling. Okay, we're going to have to look a long way down. Oh no, we're not. This is actually for 4th place. BWT and Nielsen. So Matthias Pruschkel and Jules Caranta. And Jules in the number 4 Nielsen racing car. Same livery, different number and bits still attached. Whereas in comes number 7. Gael Julien was just in the front of camera shot and again there. So he's pitting from 3rd place. under green. Now, that will potentially give him an advantage, because although everybody is now up to speed, when he comes out, there'll be no slow zone in place, so his outlap will be a little quicker. Hello, slow zone here. Another incident. This is down at the first chicane, isn't it?
Slippery surface flags out there as well. Just looking at...
That's because there's...
I'm not sure that's actually a slow zone. I believe that's just a yellow flag, but he's got stuck behind him. I think...
Let's watch this. It is Giacomo Petrobelli got hit from the rear by an LMP3 car.
He'll probably turn into a slow zone.
Proper centre punched.
Right,
and the Get Speed Mercedes was there as well.
Now we can tell you the advantage that's been drawn by both of the RSGP cars, but one far more than the other. Absolutely right, Theo. About 165 seconds for the leading group through there with the full slow zone in place. For Daniel Frost, who encountered it earlier, he went through there in 153 seconds, picked up 12 seconds. Lena Bula, 141 seconds. She's picked up 24 seconds on the lead group. So when they come into the pits, if we're full green, she's going to go rocketing up the order.
It's better than that, Jim, because you were reading a line above. Lena Bula, 127 seconds as opposed to 160, so she gained nearly 40 seconds. And Daniel Frost, 25 seconds gain. So, yeah,
potentially
that definitely has helped.
Could turn this race on its head.
Yeah. However, the cars that stayed out will not have a slow zone on their way through on the exit of their pit lane. So
did notice, by the way, the LMP3 car that was involved in the issue down at Marshall's Post 11 had pulled over drivers left and stopped. I think it was. Yeah, they've had a rotten start, haven't they, here?
Matthias Plushkel under real pressure from Jules Caranta. Plushkel in the pink BWT Mucke Motorsport car, team run by Stefan Mucke. A man who's got plenty of time on this track in Aston Martins, among others, and a very slow Ferrari. I mean, that is slow, the Ferrari. I'm not quite sure why it's going so slowly, but anyway.
I think that's just regular speed for a Ferrari.
It is now, yeah. It seemed to be, maybe he was watching his mirrors as he came down into Mulsanne corner.
I think he'd seen them coming and thought they're the right place to let them go, but...
Slow zone coming at the beginning of the Mulsanne. So it will go slow zone from Tertre Rouge to the first chicane. Great battle here. This is actually what we see for most of a Michelin Le Mans Cup season. Really close racing in three categories. And this is sort of what we'd hoped for out of this. Here's the first chicane, and it's all for this clear up.
There you go.
Actually, that was, yeah, over-ambitious. It was which of the P3 cars can't quite identify.
37, I think.
The WRT BMW went straight through the chicane in the background.
In avoidance, was lucky not to be collected. I think it was the 37.
And it was over-ambitious there by the LMP3 car. Stuck his nose on the inside. I'm not sure where he imagined the Aston Martin was going, but I would have thought round the corner would have been a fair bet on that.
Yeah, also a brilliant save here. I don't think you realise how sketchy this corner is at the best of times. When you're side by side and having a save like that, very, very, very nicely saved.
A bit of side wash as well, because although you don't see it like you do on a boat, boats create a wake, we understand that, so do cars. And so when you break that, I mean, you think about going past a lorry on the motorway and you get that wobble of turbulence, the wash off the truck. Well, that's exactly what you get at this sort of speed, and that's a lot of damage. It's going to need a nose.
There's rear damage as well from the impact from
right
the
rear
LMP3
puncture.
car. I can tell you, by the way, the 37 CLX Motorsport car, I think that was the car involved, is shown as a retirement.
Leaders are all in.
And they're both doing a driver swap as well.
And Nielsen and BWT Mucke. So JB Simonauer in the Gulf McLaren is going to lead the race overall unless he pits.
Well, he's leading it now. He's shown as a leader. So 37 car it was that was involved in that, and that car is out of the race. Louis Stern there involved in that clash with the Aston Martin. There is the BWT Mucke car.
I think Michelle Gassing and Sarah Bovey would very much approve of their livery colours. There is your overall race leader, JB Simonauer. in the SMC Motorsport Gulf McLaren.
Now, is this the first time a McLaren has led overall
Since
in this race since the
won.
90s?
Yes, in any race at Le Mans since they won.
Well, my very first race, 1995, came to watch the McLarens.
Of course, it wasn't a Gulf car necessarily that led most of that.
Indeed, it was not.
It was the Ueno Clinic car. So JB Simonow leads, and staying out into Europol competitions, number 43 car is now the lead car in LMP3. Christian Danemann Jorgensen still leads, and our three classes are all represented in the top three, because the LMP3 Pro-Am leader, also from Inter Europol, Alexander Bukantsov, another World Endurance and ELMS semi-regular, that is third. So we've got the classes in pretty much the reverse order. GT3 leading from LMP3 and LMP3 Pro-Am. 91, Steph is telling my ear,
that's the,
has come in with damage. That's the Kyrikos Blackthorn blue car, Giacomo Petrobelli.
Well, we can see the rear damage there from the impact from the 37. That's cost the 37 a race finish, and it might well end up costing the Aston Martin a race finish too. Remember, that car had been dealt a black and orange flag to come in to repair the damage, and they'd not done so.
Mind you, it is a long lap, particularly with the slow zone, so they might actually only have been... we saw that 10 minutes ago. That might still be the lap that they're completing. There is your race leader, though, Jean-Baptiste Simonow of this parish. JB, the car behind the Aston Martin is a lap back.
That car, though, isn't. That is the biogas car. That is the real gap in GT3. Where is the biogas? Oh, it's the biogas car.
It's a lap behind. It's on an outlap.
Because he's on a lap. Absolutely.
Everybody in GT3 has pitted, except for the 95 United Autosports car of Garnet Patterson. So these cars, this is for position. 23, Fran Rueda, and the AF Corsa 83 car, Norikazu Shibata, that is a battle for position. So Rueda on an outlap, but Shibata going by him. Those are the two Kyrikos Blackthorn Aston Martins, and that is not happy body language.
Meantime, cars number 2 and number 99 at Marshall's Post 5 early in the lap under investigation, causing a collision. That is the Rinaldi racing car of Stylianos Kolovos.
More waved yellows. What's the board? Is this safety car? It is safety car.
Ah, that's why.
Oh, that's a CLX car, isn't it?
Well, that's the other CLX car. That is that the 97?
Yes, that's the 97 car. And that has come to a fairly significant
We
halt
under safety car.
in the Porsche curves.
Yeah, Cedric Ultramar. It's been a rotten day for CLX Motorsport. Let's hope he's okay. So Ligier, driver is on the right-hand side in Ligier. So away from the impact zone.
Quite like proper cars.
Yeah, well, let's watch this. It's not going to make pleasant. There was another car involved. That was a big hit, and I do hope that's
a big hit, and that's something that's really not going to fill anyone else with confidence, especially the people that haven't seen it. We now know it's an incident, but a lot of the drivers will be passing that thinking, oh, that's a scary corner, I don't want to go off there. And now you might start to
safety car.
Look at it again
so
as
you
a
need to
driver.
catch up with your line of safety car. Please, team managers, communicate to your drivers to catch up with the safety car. 88, you need to pick up the pace.
I think it's a bit of both. First of all, you can't touch any of these curbs in the Porsche curbs with an LMP3. Doesn't really like it. It gets unsettled very easily. So these curbs aren't ideal.
Coming to MP31, we will have marshals and medical car exposed. So you bear left at 31.
Safety car driver is out and leading the field around.
It will be 3 safety cars, but there is a difference in the procedure for the Road to Le Mans as opposed to the 24 hours of Le Mans.
We bear left. 30-31, we bear left. We follow the safety car in his behavior. Everyone to catch up with the safety car, please.
I am joined by Artur Grosjean, driver of the number 12 at Brutal Fish by Campos. You've just jumped out of the car. A really great stint from you so far. It couldn't have gone better, pitting from the lead.
Yeah, it's an unremarkable race for the moment. The start of the race is incredible for us. We managed to build a really good gap. We've been lucky with the slow zone. Car is perfect, so for the moment we are really good.
And of course, it's a long 3-hour race. Can we expect to see you back in towards the end?
Yeah, I will see if I go back to the car. I don't know yet for the moment, but we'll see.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
So Theo Mercouris, smile on his face. I mean, oh, hello, and the leader is in under safety car.
Well, the lead's in on the safety car. That's I think he can.
Yeah, so safety car you can, full course yellow you can't.
So I think this is a big advantage to him. Huge advantage to him.
Staying out to the end really worked for them.
Right, so point is going to make in terms of the difference in the regulations, the way that safety car works with this race against the 24 Hours of Le Mans. It is still 3 safety cars, but there will be no wave-by. So the whole field will be released. At the point of release, the 3 safety cars will pull to the side and return to their holding places.
Another thing we say about gaining in the pit stop, usually you'll gain a lot on the safety car, and you still will, but you might get held at the end of the pits.
Good point.
So one thing we don't know is whether he'll end up behind which safety car.
That's very true. So this is going to be easy to sort out afterwards, isn't it? Thanks, Theo, for just
me, I went through
adding the
He's been reading the regs, you know.
Yeah, I went through hours of this last night before I was ready to race. I was getting ready for it myself.
Oh, my Lord. OK, so top 3 are in anyway. So in came JB Simonar in the SMC, McLaren in, came both into Europol cars as well. So Christian Jorgensen and Alexander Bukansov, who were the LMP3 and the LMP3 Pro-Am leader and the GT leader, are all in the pit lane, all doing, you assume, driver changes. Certainly we saw one at the McLaren, and you would think that the other 2 would be taking that opportunity to do so as well. As we get close to the 1-hour mark, so what's the standard stationary time during the pit stop?
Well, everyone's stuck to the same time, so there's no benefiting. It's very much I'm not going to say an easy pit stop, but you've got plenty of time to change over before you're allowed to go. Obviously, you can risk it with how close you want to be to the limit.
And what is the limit for these pit stops? 2:55,
I believe so, and that's including the fast lane.
In which case, 1 or 2 are in trouble, and we'll come to those in a moment.
Yeah.
So that's from pit in to pit out.
Pit in to pit out. So you can manage it as well. Another thing is people might release you early. You might have to manage the speed. You're not meant to, so some people might get caught out doing that as well. One
of the bonuses is that you could actually get your driver in and get him to the red light at the end of the pit lane. He's not left the pit lane, and he can be at the front of the queue. You could literally gain track position there, and there's the countdown.
Yeah, you can leave 30 seconds early.
Hold my beer.
No, this is. I can see the job advert for that one. Glamorous job in motorsports available.
I've got a laptop. Look at my second screen.
So, just for clarity as well, with the benefit of you having read the rules last night, which I forgot to do, is it 2 or 3 time stops?
3.
Right.
So all of them have to be long stops. They all have to be the same length. 3 of them mandatory, which does make it a bit easier on fuel, but also is very impressive that they made it this far, because they must have been almost running out of fuel by the time the safety car came out.
Well, I'm just going to take a look at who might be in a bit of trouble. The first one that stares out at me is Nielsen Racing, running in 8th place with Alfie Briggs now aboard that car that was started by Gail Julien. 2:54, that's too quick. Looking further down the order, I spotted at least one more. It's going to be on the second screen, and I think that was Stella Motorsports.
As well, this might be a huge factor. The leading Campos, who's second in the race at the moment, they're behind a different safety car to all the rest.
Wow.
So they've got a 2-minute lead now. So, well,
it won't be a real 2-minute lead, we should make that clear, but in terms of on track at their speed, it's 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's going to be huge.
Yeah, exactly.
And because it's a race, somebody's being investigated for track limits as well. So there's lots going on. Lots going on in the pit lane. Yeah, so 2:55 is the minimum. So sharp work from BWT Mucker, because their pit stop is timed at 2:55.
Well, there's a number of those up and down the order, lots of 2:56s. We're going to see again this impact from Cedric Ultra. I'd have felt that.
All right, well, this tells me 2 things, knowing our director. he wasn't on the curb where he lost that checking up to avoid the back of the car in front.
I think he actually touched the back of the other car.
Yeah.
It looks like there might have been a tiny bit of contact as well, which really finished the job.
I think it was the 42 coming through, and yeah.
Well, that, to me, that we're seeing that again suggests that our director has been told the driver is out of the car and okay, and I definitely hope that that is the case. We saw the medical crews were there very swiftly on the scene to attend to him. The marshals were looking over the wall. I mean, the driver's literally right below the wall, and if they're not getting the thumbs up from him, if the door's not opening, then it will be instant medical intervention, because you can't take any chances. I mean, that will have knocked the wind out of his sails, properly rung his bell. I'm not remotely surprised he wasn't springing out of it like a spring chicken, but he's out of the car. The car's being moved, so very good news indeed.
While we're under this safety car, let's dip into Theo's epic memory bank here. Theo, coming into this LMP3 scene from success in the Ligier European Series, this is part of the ladder that leads to Le Mans, and that's obviously where your ambitions lie. Tell us a little bit about that journey. So the Ligier European Series, the lower step, if you like, on the ladder in the European Le Mans Series, which has 3 steps leading towards the FI World Endurance Championship. Tell us a bit about the cars, the racing, and that progression.
So, first of all, this may catch people by surprise, but at least from what I've heard, the LMP4 is actually the hardest car to drive. So, as you go up the ladder, it actually gets a bit easier.
No,
Not massively.
I won in the hardest car to drive. Yeah, no, you know, I'm not just saying this.
So far, I haven't driven the LMP2 yet.
Other people are saying.
Yeah, if you are out there and you want to let me have a go in an LMP2, I'm very much open to, I'm open to having a go. But from what I've seen in the LMP3 and the LMP4, it does get a bit easier. But yeah, the LMP3 is an absolute beast of a car. So the Ligier European Series and LMP4 is basically like a small LMP3, one of these, but a little bit less power, a little bit less downforce, and it's a great way into endurance racing on the same paddock normally. Last week they were racing here at Le Mans as well, and it's a brilliant way in. I was doing it with Hayden Chance, who was in the race earlier. Unfortunately, he's now retired, but we did it together. We knew each other all the way up through from karting, but it was both of us sort of first time in this paddock.
But the other thing I was going to add here, it's not just the kind of the numerical ladder. With the Ligier package, you're given quite a lot of help with success.
Exactly. So the biggest benefit of all is the prize money towards the end and the help from Ligier themselves. Not only do they help open doors and help introduce you to people, but you get prize money if you win the championship. Now, that is a big if. Obviously, you can't bank on winning the championship, but with 150,000 euros going to the winning team, it's a massive favour going on the next step into Le Mans Cup. And for me, if it wasn't for the prize money, I would have never been racing again. So it can be absolutely career-changing what it does, and that's at a very early point. Obviously, you still have steps afterwards as well.
So what's next? Should have been racing here, not racing here. We're going to see you for the rest of the Le Mans Cup?
Hopefully. I'm still trying to see if I can get on the Le Mans Cup grid for the rest of the season. But yeah, the next step, it would hopefully be LMP2, but it's how you get in that in the first place. Obviously, we all know motorsport's a tricky place to get into. Even once you're inside of it, it doesn't get much easier. So,
but at least what we've got is a meaningful ladder. We hear time and time again in these troubling years for motorsport, single-seaters, yes, it's a ladder, but boy, oh boy, are the numbers that are attached to that completely crazy.
Yeah, when you start to hear the numbers that are attached to it, you can see why a lot of people are starting to give up on the F1 dream. And it's sad to see, but also, it's also good to see how big endurance racing is becoming. Because for me, I've always been a huge fan of it. I've always preferred this to Formula One. It may be controversial, but for me, it's always been what I'm interested in. And it's great to see so many people coming over and giving it a go. And the ladder is there, it is possible to keep climbing up. It's never easy, with support of other people, you can make it work. So hopefully I can make it up to the hypercar one day and be here at Le Mans doing the 24 hours. And I already know people that I raced against 2 years ago that are doing the 24 hours this weekend. So it can be done. It's just finding the right way up.
And you can earn a living as a driver in endurance racing. In GTs, in prototypes, in GT3, in ACO regulations, in IMSA, in SRO. It's very hard to earn a living as a driver in single-seaters. There's, 10, 12 drivers on the planet who are doing that.
Yeah, exactly. It's near impossible.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what a time to be a young driver. You're looking. Yeah, we're just seeing a penalty for car number 20 for weaving under yellow flags.
Under investigation. That's the lead car.
Potentially, yeah. The high-class racing car, Philip Lindbergh. Right, because we're under safety car and Steph is down in the camera, in the pit lane with a camera and a microphone, let's catch up with Jules Caranta.
Alongside me, I have Jules Caranta, driver of the number 4 Nielsen Racing. Quite a good stint from you. You made up several places. How did you see it from your perspective?
Yeah, it was a very good stint. Very happy. Yeah, from P20. Yeah, was really good. Really happy for the team. Now my teammate is on track. He will do a good job for sure. Yeah, now in the safety car we can calm down a bit. Yeah, let's see how the race goes. Still a lot of time remaining, so yeah, I hope everything goes well and we can do a good result. So I'm happy.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, nice to hear from Jules. And Nielsen still in the hunt. They're in the hunt for points, certainly 8th place at the moment, and they're in a different safety car, unfortunately, for the leaders. So the top 2, high-class racing car number 20 and the number 12 Brutal Fish by Campos car are in one safety car queue. They're 3 minutes ahead of the next group of cars from 3rd down, car number 19 from Brutal Fish, that's 3 minutes back, and then all the way down to 26th place. Eric Dodonka in Motorsport 98 is in the lead of the 3rd safety car queue, and that is over 5 minutes back. So to put that into perspective, Eric Dodonka, safety car Q3, heading towards the Porsche curves. The leaders, and I think there's only 2 cars on the lead lap in the safety car AQ, one of which is the leader, one of which is 2nd place. They're just exiting Mulsanne corner. Yeah. So this is safety car QC, which is coming, B rather, which is coming now out onto the Mulsanne straight out of Tertre Rouge.
It's just luck of the draw, isn't it? I'll complete this conversation with, we've got car 97, another of the CLX Motorsport car under investigation.
Now, is that the one that crashed, or is that the one that's still going?
No, that's the one that crashed. That is Cedric Autremont's car. We're getting some questions, I'm sure. We're delighted to have you here, but just why aren't you racing?
So, unfortunately, I was in the Pro-Am category, racing with Denise Young, and we were actually doing very well. We were looking very competitive all weekend and throughout the amount of practice we did beforehand. But unfortunately, she had an incident in FP1 and had an injury, so we had to withdraw from the race, which is a shame, especially after qualifying, being ready to go. But, you know, it was a dream for both of us. I mean, I was lucky to race here last year as well in the Road to Le Mans. But for her, you know, it's been a dream for ages to be able to race here on, you know, on such a big stage. And, you know, it's not every day you get to race at Le Mans. So gutting for both of us, but we can always try and come back stronger.
Them's the breaks. Well, good luck and best wishes here fast for Denise. And I'm sure you'll be back with us this season and beyond. It is a part of the sport that is learning to breed young talent. And Theo Mercouris, as you can hear, young and talented. Excellent explanation of exactly what's what. Speaking of young and talented, Martin Haven.
I've got a question. When we watched the Gulf McLaren stop, we definitely saw a driver change. It's at the back of this queue, by the way. You're just looking at the WRT BMW that leads in GT3, ahead of the Get Speed Mercedes. Anthony Bartone, winner here last year in the Mercedes. And there they are, 1st and 2nd. At the back of this little queue is the Gulf McLaren. That's now 3rd in GT3. We saw a driver change.
I don't think we did.
I think we did. We definitely saw the door open and somebody standing in the doorway. So right. I mean, it does still say it's JB Simon at the wheel.
What I would say is, again, Theo Mercouris, I think, was spot on. Question: why did that car stay in pit lane for 4 minutes and 10 seconds? Because the minimum is 2:55, and my guess is red light.
Yeah, yep. we don't know what it was because we didn't see it, but it could have got stuck behind the red light. Obviously, with the 3 safety cars, you're told when you're allowed to come back out, which is why it's a risk pitting under safety car. You can gain a lot, you can lose a lot, so and it looks like we might have lost a lot. For
potential massive win, actual massive loss.
Except they can literally see the 2 cars in front of them on the track, and there's only 2 or 3 LMP3 cars in the way. So, yes, they've lost track position. There you can see the Inter-Europol car sitting at pit out, waiting for the queue to go by.
Steve Jans.
Yeah, Tony Bartone in the car at the moment.
Yep, so they're looking well set at the moment. Arnaud Robin with Anthony Bartone right behind him when we get back to green flag running.
So that 34 Inter-Europol car really losing a lot of time there, sitting at the end of pit lane. It's on your final screen over the far side. I think they have now just left, but that's plunged them way
it really
down
has.
the order.
So why are we still in the safety car? Well, we've seen the car being recovered. We know the driver is out of the car, inevitably will be heading to the medical centre. We need to get all the kit and caboodle and the staff to a place of safety. But the other thing to remember is it's not for nothing there are impact absorbing barriers at that point, and it may well be the determination is that those sections need to be replaced.
Was there a safer barrier there, or is it just concrete? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But you're absolutely right. Yeah, the medical crews who came down from the entry to Porsche curves will need to go back on station because they're there geographically for a very good reason, and so there's all of that needs to be going on. And you're exactly right, for the circuit to remain homologated, all of its safety precautions must remain in place. Looking there at the 51 AF Corsa Ferrari, another potential championship winning car that not having the best of runs so far. They're 13th in GT3.
That was one of the cars in trouble at the start in the Dunlop section. Yes, we have a Goodyear bridge, but we still have Dunlop curve, the Dunlop S's. That was one of the cars we saw stationary for quite a while at the start of this race.
And we have an hour and 47 minutes still on the clock, only an hour, less than an hour and a quarter into this 3-hour enduro.
I have to say, we made it quite far without a safety car. We had the odd slow zone, but for an actual safety car to come out, we went almost an hour.
Yep.
The entire paddock, the Michelin Le Mans Cup, will be slapping themselves on the back in congratulations.
Well,
over an hour without a safety car.
Especially after how practice was.
There'll be cake and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody who plumped for lap 1 in the in the lottery is now going, oh, okay.
I mean,
who saw that coming?
Yeah, to be fair, when you look at the amount of practice that we get plenty of time, but with the red flags, it doesn't end up being too much. I think this weekend I might have done 3 push laps. So that's if I was lucky.
Martin, lazy, I call it.
Yeah.
Kids today, eh?
I know.
Now then, number 7 from Nielsen into the pit lane, Graham. Was this a penalty?
They did have a penalty.
Okay,
they can't serve the penalty on a safety car, Martin.
No, so this is something else. Is this, we think we're going back to green next lap, so we're going to do a second pit stop.
Well, can they burn a long pit stop under a safety car?
I believe you can.
Well, hang on a minute.
But the question is, will they be able to do it?
Everybody has pitted under the safety car.
Well, can do
so
it
you
twice.
either can or you can't.
But it looks like they're also fixing that. It could be that they called in for the damage they got at the start, which is quite late.
We haven't seen that being notified. I think this is them going, we're going to get a second pit stop out of the way, and then we will decide when we want to make our final pit stop.
But the issue is, not only is it 3 mandatory pit stops, normally that would make it 2 stints, then 2 stints, obviously with 3 in the middle.
Safety car is coming in this lap, by the way. Sorry, Tio.
But also, you have a minimum driving time. Each driver has to do an hour and a
before
quarter.
the respective lines, no overtake before the respective lines.
So every driver has to do an hour and a quarter, and we are not at that stage yet because it does not count safety car time. So even though we're almost an hour and a quarter into the race, he's probably only done an hour and 10 minutes of actual driving.
See, when you write rules like that down, the law of unintended consequences come in. We might have so much time behind the safety car that nobody can actually do their drive time.
Yeah.
So
that's why it's a tricky one.
So that rule can't exist.
Just a quick moment, by the way, as we're looking at the Nielsen Racing pit, just noticed Graham Johnson in the background, the previous team owner of Lannan Racing, who've won here in Road to Le Mans. Graham, in retirement, is now with Nielsen Racing advising on their programme. A good man to have, a good arrow to have in your quiver, methinks.
Yeah, retirees are always good, because they're cheap, aren't they?
I bet he isn't.
So Alfie Briggs is the sole car, no he's not, he's the only car in the pit making a sort of pit stop as opposed to terminally demised.
But remember, that is a car that we think might be in trouble with a short pit stop. Green flag now, so that the safety cars will pull in, and that's because the first of the safety cars has reached the start-finish straight, and that was a car going very wide. That was the Inter-Europol car. That was a bit odd.
So that's their 43 car, isn't it? Because 34 was in the other queue. So back to green all the way around the circuit. We are releasing our cars. The Aston Martin hitting the front of the queue there. That's the number 10 car, Racing Spirit of Le Mans.
So an hour and 44 minutes to go. We're not even halfway yet. We have to reprogram ourselves as Michelin Le Mans Cup devotees to the fact that this is rather longer and therefore even more chance for action. Side by side, don't do it there.
And that's going to cost them time. Now the Campos car is going to be close, fighting for the lead.
Double yellows done at Porsche curves.
Going into the Porsche curves, and this is going to be the battle for the lead with the Danish colours. Oh, squirreling under braking, car number 20, High Class Racing.
It's the two high-class cars together. Yeah,
the 49 car is a lap behind, and it is the car that pulls out from behind that, the Brutal Fish by Campos car, number 12. So Philip Lindbergh under the camera now, going out of shot, is the leader. August Raber is in second place.
It is the Racing Spirit Le Mans 24 car that is in trouble in the Porsche curves.
And another slow zone coming. Meanwhile, this is Eric de Donker's Motorsport 98 car being dive-bombed. He saw the danger coming, Theo, didn't he? And went, OK, yeah, I'm opening the steering.
Let's not do that one.
Well, there's a looping spin from the 24 car.
That's the incident that's brought out the latest slow zone.
Can he get out of the gravel, or is he stuck?
He's stuck.
He's stuck. It's a slow zone.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. So here is the Get Speed Mercedes. That is the car. Tony Bartone, American driver, winner here. Would they win second race here last year? Was it Saturday morning they were on the podium? I feel it was. Coming into the slow zone. And there's 1, 2, 3 now LMP3 cars between him and that WRT BMW as they hit the slow zone down to 80 kilometers an hour. Once you get past the scene of the crime, then you get the green flag, release the limiter, and off we go again. So it allows the marshals to work in safety because everybody's coming by at a very much reduced pace and hopefully won't fall off the track and endanger anybody else.
It was the first race. We had AMGs winning both races. Team Motor Park on the second race here last year.
There we go.
It was Anthony Bartone and Steve Jans took the win in race 1. So looking to try to double up here, Anthony and Steve.
And just below the bridge at the top there, past karting, you can see that's where the speed limiter is released, and that's where they all start to build up to speed. Coming into the pit lane now, not sure who that is. Alfie Briggs from Nielsen is back out. So we are seeing a couple more pit callers.
By the way, that was a long stop from Alfie. So potentially well, he's got time, actually, to avoid the penalty, because he can.
It was 2:58, so it wasn't a long stop.
The one before was 2:54.
It was 2:54, so that wasn't a long stop, 2:58.
Yes, it is. 2:55 was a long stop.
No, but it wasn't a lot like 4 minutes 10.
No. The point I'm making here is that he has time to avoid the penalty, because he'll only get the penalty post-race if he doesn't make the 3 stops. So yes, he'll have to burn 3 minutes by doing it, but it'll likely save him time against the penalty he would otherwise get.
If he has to make 3 stops anyway, making 3 stops, how does that save you a penalty?
Because he's short on his first long stop, 2:54. He did a 2:54 rather than a 2:55.
Yeah.
That's short. He will therefore get a penalty for that stop if he doesn't serve 3 long stops.
And usually it's a very, very harsh penalty. It's not a penalty you want.
The point I'm making is he can burn 3 minutes and possibly save 4.
Does doing an extra pit stop remove a penalty?
Yes, because he'll have done 3 long stops. The fact he's done 4 longer stops, one of which is too short. You're confused, I can tell.
We're going to have to get the rule book back out.
Yeah,
I
think he can definitely do it.
Yeah, okay, I sort of see what you're saying.
There is no rule to say when you have to serve them. The 3 long stops. He has served. Oh, good. Now, that's not as designed, is it?
Now, we were talking about flexi rear wings. I'm not really sure that's what Anthony Davidson had in mind.
They don't seem to be doing much to fix it either.
No, inactive aero, I think we call that one.
DRS.
I don't know what it
Might
stands
help
for.
round here.
I'm not sure aero's your issue, judging by how many cars are missing how many bits and with random parts sticking out into the airflow who don't appear to be going any slower whatsoever. I think aero here is more a nice thought than a necessity.
It's a nice to have.
We did say last night, I mean, what position would you finish in overall if you stay on the lead lap?
Well,
third.
At this stage, let's look. I mean, now we're up to speed. We can tell you what the real world gaps are. The lead battle between High Class Racing's Philip Lindbergh and August Raber for Brittlefish by Campos in the 12 car. That's 1.2 seconds. Behind them, because of the position that the chasing pack were in the safety car, it's 1 minute and 49 seconds.
Yeah, the second group were nearly 3 minutes back because the safety car, or 2.5, and the second group were 5 minutes, a third group were 5 minutes back because the safety car spread. But there's nothing to guarantee that in the remaining hour and 40 minutes there won't be another safety car, and that will either expand some of those or contract some of those. Meanwhile, 23 Events Racing putting in the move and outrunning himself down at Arnage. So, managed to come back on in front. So that is a net gain for the 23 Events car. And so that is Isaac Barashi up to what is 10th ahead of Fraser Ross in the GT Classics car. But
he leads Pro-Am.
Still leading Pro-Am. So, yeah.
In fact, we've got the 2 leaders in the other classes together on track, because just coming through Arnage as we were sorting that little one out was Anthony Bartone flying in the Get Speed car. And the other point I was going to make about what's happened through that safety car period is the gap to Jean-Baptiste Simonal, which we think was held at pits out, is well over 1 minute now.
And back into the slow zone they come, but JB is up to 2nd place in GT3, followed by 2 Kessel Racing Ferraris. So what happened to the WRT BMW? Answer, it came into the pits, and Arnaud Robin has handed over to Maxime Robin. Narain Kartikeyan has taken over car number 36, the Ajit Redant car.
Finally, he gets to start at Le Mans.
Yes, there we go. Why are we saying that? Because Narain Kartikeyan was an Audi factory driver, and in a bizarre incident... by Collis factory driver. Well, that may have predicated a pit stop for the WRT BMW that was the leader.
Luckily,
in
I can't think of a much tougher car.
Yeah, that was trouble at the pit in. There's a car stationary behind this car.
There really is. This car was stationary, wasn't it, a while ago?
Well, that car it's the 24 again. That's Christian Gysi trying to get back to pit lane.
Now, this could be big. It probably won't be, but if there's a car stopped and they can't keep going, that will shut the pit lane completely. And that could put some people in trouble here.
Well, the good thing here is it's not like Spa, where you're in that concrete channel where there is no way to get by.
You can get by, but it's whether they shut the pit lane, whether you're allowed to.
Fair point.
Double yellow at MP34, that's here. But you can come around. I mean, they're not going to penalise you there if you're coming into the pit lane and you come around the stationary car. At least you hope they're not going to.
So Stefan Aust on pit road, it will be.
Philippe Lazaire taking over.
Yeah.
So that car 2nd in Pro-Am. So the GT Classics car, the blue car we saw of Fraser Ross, still leading in Pro-Am. Tony Bartone still leading in the Get Speed Mercedes in GT3.
Slow zone coming in, by the way, to protect that car in pit in.
Somebody's listening somewhere, because the SMC Motorsport car, the Gulf McLaren that we've been saying was still JB Simonau, even though we clearly saw it wasn't, is now being shown as Gonçalo de Andrés Martí and his co-driver. So they have finally caught up with that. We definitely saw it. Anyway.
I was looking elsewhere. There's the 78 car, the United Autosports coloured Ligier.
In the vaguest of terms, it's blue, red and white, but not the blue, the red and the white that we would normally associate with United. It's chromed, and it's not even a chrome of the sun. It's, yeah, vaguely. Racing Spirit of Le Mans, not Le Mans. They haven't spelt it wrong. Lake Le Mans is the Swiss name, or the...
I'm not going to help you.
What's the extraction of... Genovese, but that's Genoa, so... The Genevian, it's what in Geneva they call Lake Geneva.
We're so sorry.
And in comes the Code Racing developed number 11 Aston Martin. So it's all Astons, paging all Astons to the pit lane, please. Have they got a sort of remote AI voice for that? Because they've got one here for everything else.
Car 20, by the way, which was the leader, gets 10 seconds added to the next pit stop for a yellow flag infringement.
Ooh.
That car is on pit lane now. August Reber could be absolutely in splendid isolation here for a very long time. That gap for August Reber.
Well, also, that is the car that's in the pit lane at the moment.
That's what I mean, yeah. So August Reber leads now.
He will be completely alone, a minute and a half ahead of anyone.
We know what that's like, though, don't we, being completely alone. So it's a black moment. But,
can get the staff, we just don't pay enough. So Brutal Fish by Campos, August Raber, there he is in splendid isolation, and Graham's absolutely right. Next car behind him on the road, Lorenzo Fluxer Cross, the Brutal Fish by Campos number 19 car. Hello, they're back to 1-2. And separated this time not by 6 seconds, but by 1 hour and 45 minutes, or 1 minute and 45 seconds, probably close to the call. However, Brutal Fish by Campos and High Class. Well, High Class, Philip Lindbergh there, having earned that penalty, when he sees the car still sitting there in about a quarter of an hour, he's most of the way down his cup of tea. He's going to be, should we not be leaving at some stage? He may not even be aware that there's an extra 20 seconds to serve in the penalty.
Sometimes you come in from the pits thinking, oh, that was a good stint, and then you don't know the aftermath until afterwards. You don't see all the penalties. You have no idea what place you're in, what's happening.
August Raber needs to avoid running too wide and bumping up that curb too often. I know they do it a lot in the hypercars and in LMP2 and in GT3 at Le Mans, but these cars are not necessarily made for quite that amount of brutality. Just tighten the line a fraction on the exit. And again there, just kind of don't really want to be dragging wheels through the gravel. He didn't quite, but not too far away.
I'll tell you what, not only has he got the luxury of a almost 2-minute lead now, he's got the track to himself. He's got no one around him. I mean, I don't think I've seen this all weekend.
He's on the radio again. Guys, what have I missed? Guys, hello?
Yeah, it's kind of, he's probably got a chance to listen to a podcast. If you are looking for podcasts, I can give you some recommendations.
I think the most I went this weekend was 2.5 sectors before I caught traffic.
Wow.
So
or
this
a full course yellow.
This is the WRT BMW, and that's what caused the puncture, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
What I'm just noticing there is the signs further down in the same place of further impacts and ripping of advertising.
There's been quite a lot of rippage going on down that.
It's sort of unorganised anti-globalisation process, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get rid of all that.
But again, hewn from solid.
I mean, how is that only that damaged? Yeah, anybody that's had a bump in a road car knows full well that you walk around the car hoping it's like that, and it never is.
There are grooves down the front and rear wing of my Morris Minor that exactly are at the height of Armco barriers on a motorway. You can walk away from them. It's not fun. Oh, hello.
Hello. It's escaped.
Hello. Speeding in the pit lane. That's number. That's the number.
Let's hope they've got a spare wheel now.
Yeah, I know, because the mechanic had given up half the ground. If it's going that fast, I'm not chasing it.
They hold a lot of energy. There was an infamous incident in an IMSA race a few seasons back where I think it was a Corvette will not got free, bounced once, bounced over a fellow GT LM car and through into the one hole in the bonnet, piercing the radiator.
Oh, of course
Retirement beckoned.
And the team are just looking at it going, really?
How? Really?
Really? Well, Max Dodd's about to get into the number 9 car, so maybe the driver needs to go chasing that.
Come on, boy, come on. Where you go? Go on.
I mean, they're all having a go, aren't they? Even the goal minder here, Matty, that's a heck of a hockey shot.
Yeah.
It even
Straight
jumped over the pit rope.
Straight through all the defenders. Meanwhile, back in the world of sanity, here is the high-class car, back out on track after its additional 20 seconds. So Lenny Reed is at the wheel. This car, don't forget, came in from the race lead. Hour and 29 minutes to go, just over the halfway mark by a few seconds. An hour and a half in, hour and a half to go, and again in the number 20 car, absolute acres of nothingness in front of him and barely any sign of anybody behind him. That sort of splendid isolation that never happens here.
2 minutes gap now between the two Brutal Fish by Campos racing cars. Behind that, it's pretty close.
Well, that's coming down. August Raber's last lap, 4 minutes 27.5. Lucas Fuchs across, his teammate in second, 4:23.6. So,
well, maybe he just lacks motivation at this stage.
Spent most of his time on the
It's
radio
too
going,
easy,
where
yeah.
is everybody? All right, lads, enough. Come out wherever you are. He is halfway down the Mulsanne Straight on his own.
But the worst possible thing for August Raber now is if he's got a radio failure as well. Because he'll have no idea what on earth is going on.
2 slow zones, one predictably enough in the Porsche curves, or exit the Porsche curves, and the other one has just been withdrawn at Marshall's Post 3, which is the Dunlop chicane.
Meantime, by the way, in GT3, GetSpeed's Anthony Bartone is 8th overall.
Mm-hmm. And the SMC Gulf McLaren second in GT3 is 11th. So there are, how about Tony Bartone, 2:32 behind, 3:26. There's a minute between them. But here is our race leader, August Raber, Brutal Fish by Campos. And this team, I think they probably feel that something owes them something out of the Michelin Le Mans Cup so far this season.
Well, they're newcomers this year to it. Campos Racing, big names in the junior formula, the ladder in single-seater racing. Can't get away from thinking there must be a plan. We have new LMP2 regulations coming in just a couple of seasons' time. I would not be amazed to see Campos Racing making a bid to be part of that scene.
Well, I would think they're looking further in advance as well. You know, when WRT came into LMP2, we thought, okay, well, that's not just because they fancy doing a bit of LMP2.
Why wouldn't you?
Exactly, but it's looking at positioning yourself further up the ladder, potentially, to be a service provider for a major manufacturer.
100% agree, but going back to what Theo was saying earlier, professional race teams live and die on having a customer base. And if what you've seen is that where the customers are going is sports car racing, you're idiots if you don't look that way. And what we're seeing is a lot of the big single-seater organisations, Mocha Motorsport are here.
Well, it helps for them as well, because they can bring their own single-seater drivers over.
Keep the budget.
I mean, have a bit of both.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then they've already got their drivers lined up and ready.
How about for quarter of the money that you can't raise for Spanish Formula 4, we go in and do an entire season of sports car racing, including a 3-hour race at Le Mans. I could race at Le Mans for less than doing Spanish Formula 4. Okay, where do I sign?
I've got Spanish Formula 4 on the phone. They want a word.
I'm there next weekend, so
really?
I'll go and deal with that myself.
Excellent, you'll be in the firing lines. That wasn't me. I defended you to the hilt. Lenny Reed looking to make up a position. This is this for position on the Team Virage car? No, it's not, because actually the next car ahead of him on the road is Tony Bartone's GetSpeed Mercedes, and he's nearly 40 seconds clear. This is the race leader then by nearly 2 minutes.
One thing I will say as well, the championship leaders in the LMP3 Pro, the 85 car, are a lap down. Now, I think they might have done an extra pit stop, but they are now over a lap behind the leaders. Not something we've been hearing very often from them so far this year.
Drive-through being handed to 55, and that is, who's at the wheel of that? Oh, I need my eyesight. The GG Classics car, Fraser Ross, isn't it? For track limits. I think he's probably earned that himself. CLX, because they haven't fixed enough bits on enough cars. That was
that looks
an ambitious release for the number 5 car. So I think this is the second proper racing pit stop for 23 events, and so that is Matteo Franco Segre now, their second driver. Now I thought Max Dodds had taken over the number 9 car. It seems not. Louis Iglesias is at the wheel because Max Dodds is going to talk to Steph.
Yes, I am joined by Max himself right now, driver of the number 6 ANS Motorsport. You just jumped out of the car. From your perspective, not so great quali yesterday, but you've made up a ton of places.
Yeah, you know, we were unlucky yesterday with the suspension failure, but I knew that I just had to do a job, you know, go out there, don't do anything silly at the start. Being 3 hours long, a lot can happen, and it already has. So I just thought what I'll do is stay safe at the start, don't do anything stupid, and just try and pick people off, and it seemed to work, so good start.
How's it been with the limited running ahead of the race, jumping into the car, jumping into the race with little knowledge of how the track is behaving?
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where as a driver you have to learn to adapt as quickly as possible. Of course, it's been tough because we've barely done 3 or 4 running laps. So, you know, what you have to do is you just come out and you think, I'm going to give it my all, probably 95%, so you're not doing anything too crazy. But you just got to be committed as soon as you can, and that's how you're going to make the difference in the race. So.
All right, well, best of luck to you both.
Thank you very much.
Max Dodds, one of a pair of sporting siblings. His younger sister, this is not the correct correct phrase, but knocking it out of the park in junior golf worlds. I know that's not what you're supposed to do in golf, but really making waves. So
I'm not sure he's as good though. I've asked him to come. Yeah, I've asked him to come and play golf with me, and he wants to do it, but he's not very eager.
Well, if he accepts and his sister turns up, you know that he knows.
Yeah, you know what, I'll let you know afterwards. Once I finally convince him, I'll let you know how good he is. But
well,
I think he should stick to the driving, that's for sure.
Well, he can drive, but she can drive and putt. Here all week, folks.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. I sort of saw that coming with the inevitability of, no, so, sorry.
And actually, I know the dad, Ollie, really well from many years ago. He's I wouldn't say he's a karting dad, but to say that he is a proud father does not quite give proud father injustice. He is such a proud dad.
Yep. What you mean he's insufferable? Is that what you were saying?
Not remotely. Not remotely.
I think the word karting dad suits a lot of people in the paddock.
There's a lot of karting dads.
I think it's getting more and more, but it's good to see. It's good to see the energy being up at least.
We love it.
Now this is not a battle for position, is it? This is the high class 20 car and the number 2 car. There's August Raber, our race leader. Gap's now down under a minute and 50 seconds, but again, not sure he's seen another car in about the last 25 minutes.
Yeah, so he's making way through. He's about to hit some traffic, actually. Hopefully not literally, but so just looking for where on track the next car is. The 19 at the moment, it's coming down towards, so the run down towards Indianapolis as the leader comes through Tete Rouge. That's the gap.
And just out of this group, in 15th place, in fact, High Class Racing's number 49 car, Michael Hove, is leading in Pro-Am from DKR's number 3 with Quentin Antonel at the wheel, and Rinaldi Racing 71, we saw Felipe Lazer taking that car over, and they are nose to tail to nose to tail. They are running in very close company. So first, second, third in LMP3, High Class DKR and Rinaldi, DKR and Rinaldi all running close together. The M Racing car in 4th, Wayne Boyd, ahead of George Nakas now at the wheel of the GG Classics car, and they are separated by about 6.5 seconds from each other as High Class comes into the pits. The 49 car, Michael Hove, coming in, so that will drop down the order. But Brutal Fish by Campos, first and second. More motorsport. Max van der Snel, the 99 car, has now shuffled its way up the order to 3rd place.
Well, that was a car that had trouble on lap 1. That car was stationary on lap 1 with the carnage before Ornage. and has done very well to make its way back through there.
And that looked like quite a big one as well. That looked like there was quite a bit of damage.
I was quite surprised to see that car continuing. So the Le Mans Motorsport car with Max van der Snel, it's a family-owned team. Max used to race with his dad in that car. There's now 2 young drivers, and they're going well, very well indeed. One to keep an eye on.
Get Speed's Anthony Bartone is 7th overall. Vector's number 15 car, the Vector Sport RLR car, in the pit lane as well, making its stop dropping down the order. I can't read that line. Making its 3rd stop. Now, was one of those, I was about to ask, was one of those for damage or was it a penalty? Ah, okay. They did have a penalty this time.
Now it might be for damage.
Well, yeah, that too. But also, again, you know, the Bernie stuff, you've got to get the internal combustion engine filled up because it needs fuel. 49 is in as well. That's high class's Michael Hove. So he came from 3rd in LMP3 Pro Am. And again, high class racing, and has fueled back, has spent a lot of time racing a lot of different cars with high class in every category that we've got apart from hypercar so far.
Yeah, they've raced with some success in LMP2, LMP3, GT. They were in LMGT3 in the European Le Mans Series this year, and they've raced in GT3 in the Le Mans Cup. It's Friday here at 24 Hours of Le Mans. Friday traditionally is the day when everybody throws news out. So right now we are coming towards the end of the press conference for the ACO. Would you like some news while we're watching these cars going round and round?
Go on then. Well, there's no carnage to shout at.
Well, I'm delighted to let British endurance fans know that after 7 years away, 8 years away by the time it gets next year, Silverstone will return to the FI World Endurance Championship calendar with an April date. So before Le Mans, and will become the 3rd European race prior to the Le Mans 24 Hours round 3 of the now 9 race FIWC calendar. So congratulations to Silverstone.
Hooray.
And boys and girls, families, friends, we'll see you there for what I bet will be an absolutely monster ground.
You know, I'll have to see if I can get myself a drive now. Home track.
Yeah,
I only live 30 minutes away.
We'll be disappointed if you don't.
I know. Let me see what I can do. See if I can get myself in a hypercar
I'll
already.
give you some tips
Absolutely.
later.
Narrow get out of gel card played there by the DKR number 3 car, Quentin Antonel. We saw him bouncing along the grass and just getting away without smiting the barriers that the BMW that's just gone out of shot hit. And that's good because that car that we saw in slow-mo bouncing across the grass is the LMP3 Pro-Am leader. So sticking it in the barriers with half the race done, not a good thing. Second in LMP2 Pro-Am, still Rinaldi Racing's Philippe Lazaire, and he is only 1.7 behind that number 3 car now as they head across the start-finish line. The race leader heading into another yellow flag zone. Yellow flag as opposed to slow zone, which is why he's not slowing down.
One thing I will say is both Enzo Perger and Lucas Flusha are both flying right now.
They are, yeah.
The gap
Enzo
might not
Perger
be coming down enough at the moment, but it's coming down.
But Enzo Perger, fastest lap of the race, a 3:50.732. That is 2 seconds quicker than the leader. The lead gap, though, still 1 minute and 46 seconds.
And where is Enzo Perger, you want to know? He is in car number 85, the RHGP car that you can see there in 8th place. Down 5 from their grid spot, but don't forget, this is not a sprint race. We have had, for some cars 1, for some cars 2, for some cars 3, for some cars 4 pit stops already. Eliseo Donoghue, of course, is number 51 car. They've been in the pits 4 times already. We've still got an hour and a quarter to go. I'm assuming at some stage they're going to need fuel. So that will make it a 5-stop strategy. That sounds less of a strategy, more of a coping management to me.
Big Ass Motorsport from what I think was 4th in LMP GT3 on pit lane now with Josep Mayola Comadora. And Comadera, my apologies. Yep. And that is just cycling back down the order. Also on pit lane are GT3 leader Anthony Bartone from 6th overall.
Yes. again.
But that will mean they will need another stop.
Not from the overall race lead like JB Simonauer in the Gulf McLaren, but still the GT3, the third of the categories, the quote slowest of the cars. Here it is, and there's the US flags of Anthony Bartone.
Yeah,
this a driver change as well, or was the door just shut?
I think that might have just been maybe a drink for Anthony. It's not as sunny as we expected today, but it is still going to be warm in that big front-engined AMG.
Well, we've done so much waffling, I'm contemplating a cup of tea as well.
Absolutely. Well,
mid-race pit stop.
A car that we'll see 3 of those in the 24 Hours of Le Mans tomorrow in the hands of Iron Lynx in LMP3 format, and
2 of those BMWs as well in the hands of Team WRT, same as this one.
The AMG GT3 coming to the end of its supported life. Now, is that our race leader?
Yep.
Yeah.
In he comes.
Sure is, August Raber. So car number 12 coming down pit road.
Well, pace throughout from Brutal Fish by Campos to the number 12 car. A hefty barrel of luck in terms of the gap. That can't be denied, but nothing takes away from the fact they've just executed this race perfectly, Theo.
And it's about time that some of the bad luck that came their way in the last couple of races, the opening 2 races of the season, has sort of gone in other directions. They've had a big fat 0 score so far this year. This could really turn it around for them. They've had pace right from the beginning. The team in both cars, they've just had maybe sort of new boy malfunctions and overexcitement or whatever it's been, but they've ended up with far fewer points than they probably thought they were owed.
So back to track action as the lead car. Well, should, if the cars behind him don't pit, should cede the lead, but only by a minute or so.
Now, that's really good news for the high-class racing car of Lenny Reed, because he'd been stuck behind that number 2 machine for a long while. It was not a battle for position, but it was not helping, because the number 2 car was quick enough to be in the way. They're an Audi car, but not actually in position. So was it Alvise Rodella? I'm not sure. There it was, Alvise Rodella, who just ran that little tiny bit wide at Arnage.
I think we've got trouble for the Vector Sport RLR car. Yeah,
yes,
there it is.
Really
at Indianapolis, deep in the gravel for the 15 car. That is Ania Frey.
And he's been into the tyre barrier and back out of it, it looks like. This is where the 20 car picked up the spot.
You know, I take that corner a lot, and there's always gravel there. Now I'm starting to see why.
yeah. Well, some of it's come from there. Some of it's been brought from Indianapolis kindly and deposited as you hit the brakes. It all shoots out the side pods.
That gravel trap is a relatively recent addition to the 24 Hours on Le Mans circuit. I'm hearing, by the way, that we're going to see a few more nips, tucks and tweaks. That's for them to announce as to what, where and when, but in time for next year, 1 or 2 of the places that we've seen track limits and some incidents are going to get a dusting of gravel. So there's going to be another significant change.
Both Brutal Fish cars are in, so first and second. In as well is the Nielsen Racing car from third, and BWT Muka from 4th. So that suggests to me that they're all going, right, now we can make it on this final stop.
And the other thing is drive time, remember, needs to be taken into consideration at some point here too. All sorts of strategies being thrown at it. With a field this deep, it is frankly impossible to keep on top of all of it.
I'm not going to say it's an odd time to pit, but it is a bit of a weird... I think a lot of people seem to be changing in and out. So we were sort of expecting to do a double stint, you know, 1 stint, then another, then driver swap, and then 1 and 2. But a lot of people seem to be switching here, you know, here and there. So it's really mixing things up, because you'll see people gaining, then losing, gaining, then losing. It's really changing the order.
In the meantime, with Brutal Fish by Campos, number 12 car, leaving the pit lane from that lead, Lenny Reed has not pitted, goes through to lead for high-class racing. They've had no luck at all for their GT car, much better for the LMP3, trying to get a little bit of heat in new Michelins.
I don't know what it looked like to you, Theo, but to me, Lenny Reed just said, oh, bit of a wake-up call. I'm going to have to do a bit more weaving. Of course, no tyre warmers, so they are stone cold. air temperature optimistically there, saying 17, feels more like 12. So not a hot tyre.
Meantime, in GT3, and again, some different strategies being employed there, but the SMC Motorsport McLaren now leads with the leading car having pitted and cycles through with these pit stops to third overall.
Having made one, count it, one pit stop, which means in the final hour, it must make 2 more 3-minute stops.
It's great trying to make it an hour each time, but you've still got to do that third pit stop. So yes, they're going to have to pit 2 more times whether they like it or not.
They've got to do their second, When we've got some who are on 5, lots who are on 3. Most of our leaders here have managed to slice and dice this fairly well. They're only on 2 stops, and away goes the 19 car. Lorenzo Flusa Cross was in this. Lucas. I'm getting my Lucases and my Lorenzos confused, aren't I? And again, another legality panel. You can see how they are sort of quick fix. This is not their first rodeo, is it? These things come off a lot, get knocked off a lot, get dragged off by curbs and gravel traps, and so they have to be easily on and offable.
Not that easy, though.
And it's hot. Very, very hot with those race cars.
What, exhaust and brakes? No, surely not.
You know, I think we need to create a championship for who can change one of these the fastest.
That I would watch. I think, you know, we've got the Le Mans Pit Stop Challenge. And there's a bit of strategy there. There's Fuel back there being briefed.
I do believe they're called bullets.
Oh, they are.
Yes. Is that the official name?
The bullet.
Is that just the corner part though?
That is the wedge.
Obviously, cheese wedge is more fun.
Yes. There is the stricken number 15 car, and I think it's fair to say their day's done.
Well, if they're put down on terra firma, then Enea Frey can fire it up and get going.
So we'll wait and see. We've got W removed at Marshall's post 30. That is Porsche curves in.
Yeah. However, we have one at Mulsanne Corner as well as Indianapolis Arnage. I beg your pardon, between the chicanes.
There are 2 slow zones. Between the 2 chicanes, completely correct. And indeed,
Mulsanne to Arnage.
Just to protect that recovery zone.
We had plenty of clear laps, and now we've lost it. We jinxed it.
I know. Well, it was you. Kenton Antonell leading in LMP3 Pro Am after that wild grassy ride, and second is 71, the green, again, Green and Rinaldi Racing. I'm struggling to get my head around that. They've been multicoloured blue for so many years. Felbermeyer-esque, but that was the lead battle you just saw there, literally nose to tail in LMP3 Pro-Am. Those 2 cars, the black car with the orange, blue and white, and then the duotone green car, those 2 cars, that is your lead battle in LMP3 Pro-Am.
It should be a good race as well, because P3 and P4 aren't far behind either.
Yeah, they were in the same safety car queue, so they go back to green, leaving Arnage. So Guillaume Henrion for Motorsport 98, the Dayglow orange and black car, and Wayne Boyd in the M Racing car number 78 up to 4th place, and Narayan Kartikeyan in the Ajit Red Ant car now up to 22nd, 15th in LMP3, so he's having a good run.
Yeah, the other car, by the way, we updated you on Ajit Kumar's personal progress. He stepped out of the 16 cars. Now Roman Wozniak bought that car in the points in LMP3 Pro-Am, 8th and running strongly.
Yep, so having a good run.
So Lenny Reed leads the race, slightly out of sequence, but I think only owes one long stop.
Well, has made 2 stops already, so so they are sort of a little bit ahead of the curve, but that means potentially that their final stop might be...
Just depends what fuel's left in the car at this stage. That might be a real lead.
Yeah.
That may very well be a real lead.
And it's 14 seconds on track at the moment. There's the DKR Rinaldi battle at the head of LMP3 Pro-Am. In GT3, yes, Gonzalo de Andres Martin in the SMC Gulf McLaren 3rd overall is leading, but needs a stop. Has to take another stop, which leaves then Michael Birch in the United Autosports 95 car and Anthony Bartone in the Get Speed Mercedes number 14. They're second and third. They're about 15 seconds. No, they're not. They're about a minute apart, actually. So there's some gaps opening up.
Meanwhile, by the way, GT3, it's a McLaren 1-2 at this moment. SMC Motorsport third overall with Gonzalo de Martin and Michael Birch in the 95 United car. Both those cars.
Rinaldi just getting it wrong at the first chicane. And, okay, getting caught out there by not realising there was a slow zone.
Okay. That car running second in LMP3 Pro Am and is very close indeed to Quentin Antonell in the DKR Engineering car number 3. Can DKR go back-to-back with wins here with two different chassis?
And actually, he was very fortunate having made that mistake, probably because he hadn't quite realised it was a slow zone, that Quentin Antonell was in the slow zone and couldn't take advantage. So I think Theo Makuris, he lost probably a lot less time there than he might have done otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, but going back to what you were saying as well with the cold tyres, it's such a key factor. We don't know exactly what strategy they're doing, but some people will be doing more than one stint on the same set of tyres, which can actually benefit you 10, 15, 20 seconds at the start because you've got warm tyres.
The remarkable thing about this race is we could very well get to the last 15 minutes with people having to make a 3-minute stop.
Well, here we go. This is our leader in GT3, the SMC Motorsport Gulf McLaren.
Good example right there.
Yeah, United Autosports number 95 McLaren in second place in GT3. The Get Speed Mercedes in third.
It's been a great run, whatever happens. Great run from SMC Motorsports.
Yeah.
This new effort for this year. They're very proud of it. And just look at that thing. So they should be. Real shades of the start of that brand at Le Mans back in the mid-90s.
I say we got a problem down at Arnage, but the car has moved. Car number 17 looked like it was stationary on our geo-tracker.
I think it is stationary.
DKR and Rinaldi, it's going very slowly. It's moved away from Arnage. DKR and Rinaldi, nose to tail. 98 Motorsport, there it is, that Dayglow orange and black. So that's 1, 2, and then some way back in third. Well, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 cars further back. But that's very much in the hunt in the overall scale of this circuit, isn't it?
That's Gillian Henrion now aboard that car, and Gillian helping Eric de Donker to secure the LMP3 Pro-Am title last year. And he's a guy that before you blazed that trail up the order in the sports car racing ladder.
Well, I know him very well. We were both in Virage for a year.
You were indeed. Cracking kid.
Know him very, very well indeed. And yeah, he's a brilliant driver, and he's a good example of, you know, what us young drivers can do coming up the ranks and trying to prove ourselves against the people that have already proved themselves.
And actually, he's picked up a couple of places there, I think, Gillian Henrion. He's got Wayne Boyd right behind him. So we're looking at first in LMP3 Pro-Am, the multicolour car that's just gone by, the Ferrari. Second place is right behind him. And then look for the Dayglow orange and black, because right behind that is the M Racing car. They are literally nose to tail.
Forget the fact they're in the Pro-Am class. It's two top pros aboard those cars. I anticipate them leapfrogging through the LMP3 class cars ahead of them in the next few minutes, if we can stay green. And this could well be, Martin, you're absolutely right, a four-car battle for the lead of the class.
I think you're right. I think the Inter-Europol car is actually now between Gillian Henrion and Wayne Boyd, but both of them got so much experience in these cars.
Another thing to note.
Oh, and there's the Inter-Europol car removing itself from between those two machines. Lots of chat going on here about the final pit stop. There's the Rinaldi car in second place. And Motorsport 98, Gillian Henrion, the 98 car, and M Racing 78 should now be nose to tail. Well, we saw GT Classics having picked up a penalty earlier on. They're currently 6th in Pro-Am. Let's hear from their driver, Fraser Ross.
Hello everyone, I am joined by Fraser Ross down here in the pit lane, driver of the number 58 GT Classics. In LMP3, it's an incredibly tight battle, but you had a fantastic stint from yourself.
Yeah, it was a good stint. Fantastic for GG Classics to be here at Le Mans. Australian team with George Nakas. Fantastic to do a clean stint, which is quite difficult here. And to hand the car over in P1 in the top 10 was, fantastic. So credit to the boys at GG Classics. Bit of turnaround and form for us, and let's see how we go.
Credit to yourself as well. Of course, throughout your time at Le Mans, it's not been so lucky. You haven't always had the best time here. But how does it feel to know that all the hard work is pulling off?
Oh, look, this is such a fantastic event. We commute from Australia for every Le Mans Cup race, including Road to Le Mans. We'll keep doing it. We love it.
Fantastic. Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Asking an Aussie what he thinks of Le Mans is like asking everybody else. So Bathurst, what did you think? Come on! What do you think? I thought it's Bathurst. Yeah, it's great to see those guys that come clear across the planet for every one of these European Le Mans Series races. There is the GG Classics car.
With thanks to Jeff Carter, the Le Mans Cup and ELMS press officer. To expand, as we're going to see again, I think this is a replay, is it not, of the
into Europol car, yeah.
I have to say it was a very bold move.
Contact with the biogas Ferrari. He was trying to get by the Ferrari in the chicane.
There he goes.
That did not really work, did it?
Just to complete the point, I did mention that DKR had won the LMP3 Pro-Am race here with the Ginetta, so it would be back-to-back. They've also won this race with Normas and a Duquesne. So this would be their 4th different chassis manufacturer at these races.
So what you're saying is they'll run anything for anybody.
Yeah, greedy.
I think they're just ticking the boxes off the top. Can't speak.
They're doing the Ben Keating thing. Now, what haven't I driven? Yeah.
Comes a point when you're someone like Tom Christensen, you really are just ticking those boxes and adding numbers to already embarrassing shit.
Look at this lead battle, though. Look how close this is for the lead in Pro-Am. The DKR car just getting away and sensing some frustration now in the 71 Rinaldi racing car from Philippe Lazaire. He's behind Sebastian Bach in the Forestier Racing by VPS car. Little bit of debris in the road as they approach it, and the DKR car is getting away. So that sort of brighter green and black machine, the Forestier Racing by VPS car, it's for overall position, but it's not a class position, but it is still holding up Felipe Lazaire. And that Rinaldi racing car, Lazaire needs to make a move soon, because the Pro-Am leader, here he is getting away. That gap has opened up.
Yeah, 58 minutes to go. We've got double yellows at Marshall's post 33. That, I think, is for that debris, the bullet that's sitting in the middle of the track. Lenny Reed still holding off August Raber. We don't know absolutely where High Class Racers number 20 is on their strategy. Yellow's now at Marshall's post 3, so that's the start of the lap.
Well, that
Dunlop here.
Yeah,
there it is.
But
also,
also,
there's a Ferrari up by the barrier.
But also at 33, so Marshalls can go over and get that bit of debris out of the track. So.
I think it was a Kessel Racing Ferrari, of course.
Well, they're the only Ferraris left, I think, pretty much. So it's not David Fumanelli's number 17 car. That was the car that was going slowly earlier on, but appears to have sort of recovered. And the reason it seemed to be stationary for a while at Arnage and then got going slowly again. So you sense there was a bit of an off there for Fumanelli.
Now, this might be why we got that removed.
Yeah.
That's, so thank you very much.
But
it's the 5 car.
Makes the Marshall's jobs a fraction easier. Pro-Am leader then. And stay off the grass, DKR's Canton Antonell. He is now, what's the gap now? It's about 2.5, nearly 3 seconds to the Rinaldi racing car, who has not got by Sebastian Bach and Tony Bartone's Mercedes between them as well.
It's about 4 or 5 seconds the gap in class. Anthony Bartone is 4 seconds back, and then we've got behind Anthony. In fact, that's just shuffled because Anthony's just lost a place to 2 of the LMP3 cars.
Yep.
So Rinaldi Racing's Felipe Fernandez-Laza is now 5.5 seconds back from the leader in LMP3 Pro-Am, Quentin Antonell, who sits 11th overall.
Right.
I think that could have been a mistake on the last corner from our GT3 leader. I didn't see it fully, but it looked like they were coming off that last corner very, very slowly.
I wonder whether he had boxed this lap and then they waved him off.
Well, you're right. I mean, it's a slow lap, 4:24. for Gonzalo de Andres Martin, and we saw that was Simonau waiting to get back in the car.
That was JB Simonau, yeah. So 4:24, I mean, not the slowest lap by any stretch of the imagination, but still, what did... OK, Michael Birch did a 4:09, Tony Bartone 3:59, so it was 25 seconds slower than it needed to be. I wonder whether he was expecting to come into the pit lane and then got waved by again.
Another thing to note...
why would he be, I wonder?
Well, they're now over 2 hours in, and they've still only done one pit stop. So they're very, you know, they're obviously going very, very long on fuel, but...
Right, so JB went a long way, so maybe they waved him by going, no, you need to do another 2 minutes.
Maybe.
That might... Slow down. We're going to box. Just slow down. For Marnage, you know, just crawl along. No.
You know what?
Not enough. You've got to go round again.
Say what you like about Martin Haveland. We do say exactly what we like about Martin Haveland. That's not much. That could well be
once a day.
Amazing insight.
Yeah.
Well, even a broken clock's right twice a day.
Yeah, more than me, indeed. That just has that feel, doesn't it, that he got waved by.
It is a very, very long stint. I mean, he must have gone almost an hour and a quarter just in this one stint alone.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for your next economy motor car, McLaren.
Well, I've got to replace my diesel Volvo with something.
Yes.
I wonder what they're averaging, miles per gallon.
Oh.
What do you think?
Do you know, it might be quite high single digits, I would think.
Maybe.
Yeah, they might be kind of 7, 8. Yeah, I would.
I'd like to see what my road car's like compared to my LMP3.
Can I just say, by the way, look at the way the strategy's gone. 95 United, how have they figured, having made 3 stops
to
the one of the leaders? I know they're now in for their 4th because they needed fuel.
Lucky in terms of timing and what's been happening with us ahead. And then we've had the safety car which shook it up. We've had slow zones which have shaken it up. We've had other cars that have hit problems.
Okay.
But United Autosports at the moment looking very good, but they do need long stop.
Well, they have just gone in for their 4th stop.
Which may well be their final long stop.
What are the key rules of Le Mans?
Oh, go on then.
Don't hit things.
Yes.
Stay out of the pits.
Absolutely.
Ta-da!
Yep.
These guys have made 1 stop. United are making their 4th stop. United may have done part 1, but they've been in the pits rather too many times.
Yeah, but
for one reason or another.
I always thought the first rule was don't crash into your teammate. Is that down the order now?
That is a subset of don't hit
There's
stuff.
a really easy way to avoid that, which is only enter 1 car.
Interesting.
That would be my strategy.
Everybody, apart from the leader in GT3, sorry, I keep saying it, force of habit, is in the pit lane. Almost everybody else. Okay, Valentin Asclo isn't, but Racing Spirit of Le Mans have made 2 stops, so they may need another.
Well, here is the Get Speed car.
Yep.
And where's that car in the order now?
That has dropped down the order too.
Way down the order.
Yeah, because they're all in the pit lane now, aren't they? So United are in. United came from 2nd, Get Speed from 3rd. AF Corsa's 88 car, not the 51 car. So Marco Bononomi. Marco Bononomi, who's been Marco Bononomi since he was a boy, is now Marco Emilio Bononomi. In case there's another Marco Bononomi.
In comes the leader
from
GT3 and 3rd overall.
And also the Pro-Am leaders in LMP3.
There you go, here we go. So Larsa leads the race in LMP3 Pro-Am.
Can I just say, we might have an overall podium that's got this team on, because JB, I said this earlier on, and I was only very slightly joking, JB Simonauer is out to win this thing, and by that I don't mean GT3. I think he is out to try and win the race overall. So Gonzalo de Andres Martin straps in his teammate. Not quite the centre seat of the McLaren F1 GTR, but not far, and this might aid them even further, because we've got trouble below the Dunlop chicane, above the Dunlop chicane.
That's the 16 car, the Agite Redan by Virage. Roman Wozniak is aboard the car, deep in the gravel from 6th in the class, and that's a shame. They were moving on up the order.
That is on the way up the Dunlop curve. He's gone out on the outside, whether there is anybody else involved. All trouble with the right front.
Now, going back to the rule book, having studied it for way, way too long, you're not allowed to pit if there's a slow zone in the sector of the pit lane.
Okay.
So, the cars already in the pits will be okay, and they might gain time from it, but this might stop other people pitting if it goes for a slow zone there. At least from what I remember. I could be completely wrong.
The slow zone is not by pit in.
Yeah.
I think both the last and the first slow zone, if they're open, then you might not be allowed to pit.
Okay. If you're listening out there in motorsport world,
maybe you
just
can.
like to make a recommendation here. Of course, we want Theo to be back in a race car, but if you're looking for a strategist...
See, this is normally what I'm just doing while driving.
Exceptional
just
stuff.
Twiddling my thumbs, looking at the screens a little bit. You know, thinking about dinner, and then I start thinking about strategy.
Reading the rule book.
But it's an example, by the way, to our viewing audience, just how complex the rules are in the Le Mans Cup. You know, for a long time, they did simplify it for a while, but it's sort of come back in with this 3-hour format. Honestly, in terms of the strategic options, Le Mans Cup for a while was about as difficult as it got. They made it simpler, but for a couple of years, there's so many options for teams, even in a 2-hour format.
You know, now that I think about it, it might actually just be a penalty, but that makes it even more complex, because that means if you're you can't come in to serve a penalty, but you might be able to come in for a pit stop.
Blimey.
This is what you end up going through. 4 or 5 hours each night, getting ready.
Well, there's your answer, because there is a slow zone at the exit of the pit lane, but there isn't one on the way in. So he's in the slow zone coming out of the pit lane because there is a car in the gravel on the left, but coming into the pit lane, we saw a couple of cars just coming straight in there from Enzo Peugeot is in, RHGP, fastest driver in the race. Sebastian Bach is in, Chedekchus' Matthias Poulet is in, and we saw this car coming in as well, the Racing Spirit of Le Mans number 10 car, Valentin Asseclo bringing that car in. That was second in GT3.
Yeah, SMC Motorsport out and retain the lead in GT3, and okay on pit stop time, 2:56. So Gonzalo de Andres Martin. Now we think again that was a driver change because Simono was ready to go.
Well, we saw him getting into the car and being belted in. So it's taken a while for the digits to catch up with the Mark 1 human eyeball. Here's Enzo Peugeot in the 85 RHGP car, and this is going to be no fuel. Okay, so they've done fuel, and it was just waiting for the time to elapse before he fired up, and then he will be released as soon as it is clear to go. Was that the GG Classics car coming by as well? No, it wasn't.
No, but just to let you know, August Schraber in the second place car overall is on pit lane, 48 minutes to go. No sign yet that Lenny Reed is in any hurry to come to pit lane.
Now, do they still have to serve that 20-second penalty, or have they already done it?
They've only done two stops. They did stop after a penalty was applied, so you assume, yes, they have.
Which car with which penalty?
20.
Okay, I don't think they've served a 20-second penalty, because the last stop was 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
But either way, they might have more than a 20-second gap.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd serve the penalty first, because there's no guarantee there's not going to be a safety car in the last half hour, and you've got no seconds.
This is not an easy one to read, because we don't know, because we've not got the data available for this race.
Driver times.
Drive times. Yes. We don't know which team has taken which long stops. We could see a flurry of long stops in the closing minutes of this race.
Well, one thing I will say, the DKR car that was leading Pro-Am, I think you might have jinxed them, because they are...
My fault. Sorry, Kendi.
Yeah, because Motorsport 98 with Julien behind the wheel have pit, as well as the DKR, and maybe... Was it just those two? Oh, no, and I think Wayne Boyd in the M Racing, I think all of them pit, and now all of a sudden it's the opposite way around for all of them.
Yeah, but they've all pitted, but now everybody that was behind them is now in the pit lane, was there on their outlap.
Including Motorsport 98.
Yeah,
so we're going to see Motorsport 98 drop back into that order. it's going to be tight, this, you know.
And Philippe Lazaire leading in Pro-Am. There he is, 9th overall. The 71 Rinaldi car did not follow them in. The M Racing car has. Wayne Boyd has brought that in, so that's on pit road.
Both Brutal Fish by Campos cars on pit lane right now. And that gap, by the way, between the two Brutal Fish cars started at 1 minute 46, on pit lane 1 minute 44, so barely moved. So, well, we've been talking about both of the McLarens being at the front of the order. United Autosports running second for quite a while. Steph Wentworth has trotted down to United, and she's with Michael Birch.
Indeed, it's a very busy pit lane down here, and I'm joined by Michael Birch, driver of the 95 United Autosports. A great race from you. Interesting at the very beginning and how it's turned around.
Yeah, well, we had contact in turn 2 and 3, which did some damage on the car, so we came in and pitted, and Garner went out, and he was really comfortable with the car, was still fine, so he did an amazing stint. We came back in, and I went out and finished my stint, so yeah, it's good.
Once you got back in, how was the car feeling? You mentioned that was damage, but was it driving well?
It felt great, felt really good, it's beautiful. Through the Porsche curves, amazing.
And so you seem incredibly happy with how this stint has gone. It's incredible racing around here at Le Mans, isn't it?
It's incredible, and considering we had contact and we had to pit on lap 1, yeah, we're okay. I mean, there's still some way to go yet, but yeah, so far so good.
Best of luck. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that explains, incidentally, why they've made 4 stops compared to the 3 of most of their rivals, or 2 if you're looking at SMC Motorsport. The first one was after lap 1 for damage, and that's why they seemed to be coming from absolutely nowhere, because effectively they were coming from absolutely nowhere, having made an unexpected pit stop early on. Now, we did see a couple of cars coming in right at the very beginning of the race. This was clearly one of those. A drive-through penalty for pit lane speeding. The first of the race has been added to the Joys for car number 35.
It's Ultimates.
Yeah.
Now, they're another team, 3 teams I've noticed, by the way, that have done a 2 minute and 54 second stop. So they've got another one where they've attempted to do a long stop and failed.
Car 9 having 10 seconds added to its next pit stop.
That's a significant runner. That's the 5th place car in the hands of Luis Iglesias. Watch that young man. He's super, super quick.
So here is the United Autosports McLaren, currently lying in 3rd, 4th, 5th place in in GT3. Garnet Patterson at the wheel. GT3 still being led by the Gulf McLaren, the SMC Motorsport car of Jean-Baptiste Simonard. So JB leading from Matteo Cressoni, the dynamic Porsche, the 54 car. That's the first time we've said that. There's only 43 minutes remaining, and there is a Ferrari in the barriers. And that is the 83 Ferrari, and that was, looking down, that was Charles Fagg in 9th in GT3. He's only just left the pit lane.
Now that might be, we'll watch to see what intervention comes there. This might be the cue for quite a lot of pit stops to come. One quick update with, again, thanks to Jeff Carter at the media office. Lenny Reed leading the race. It was not a 20-second penalty, it was a 10-second penalty for the 20, and they've served it. So he is good to go.
Here he is. So the high-class car with the Danish flag on the nose. Lenny Reed out front.
Slow zone coming for that intervention for the recovery required for the Ferrari.
BW2 Mucker's Matthias Pluschkel in 2nd, Nielsen's Mikel Pitamba in 3rd, and on an outlap now, still as high as 4th, Artur Rogion for Brutal Fish by Campos. NS Motorsports, Luis Iglesias in 5th, but with that penalty coming their way, and that will promote Alfie Briggs in the Nielsen number 7 car. That's a decent wallop of what is a very hard abused barrier there.
I have to say, whatever's holding that barrier up, I want some of it to build anything I want to build, because it's almost indestructible, it seems.
Yeah, Newton's first law, for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. I think that barrier is doing the heavy lifting in that bit. It's doing a lot more to the cars than the cars are to it.
Driver out the car for the 81.
You know, I remember learning that equation at Le Mans 2 years ago from my exams.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I had an exam, I think, 2 days after the race, and I remember revising that.
Which means that if he hits you at an added speed, you gain speed.
Well, you did the theory, he's done the practical.
Yeah, I think it's more fun when you do it with race cars. When you're reading through a textbook, it's not as fun. As long as you're not the one doing it yourself.
So High Class Racing lead this race. Lenny Reed with 2 minutes and 41 seconds lead, but we think, well, we know, another stop still to come. It's going to be close here, gentlemen.
He's not taking it easy either, is he? Which
No,
of the
he's not.
Nielsen cars is that? That's the number 4 car. So Mikel Pitamba has brought it in from 4th overall. Mikel Pitamba is in. Alfie Briggs is in as well in the other Nielsen car. So actually that could have been the 7 as well. They're identical liveried. Couldn't see if there was damage on the left-hand corner or not, which is how I'm telling them apart at the moment. And the leader comes across the line. And does that put them a lap back? It does, but this car has only done 2 stops, 40 minutes remaining. At some stage, unless they're defying all the laws that Newton laid down and you revised a couple of years ago, they are going to need more fuel. I'm not sure they're going on pulse drive only. Lenny Reed leads from Mathis Pluschkel and Arthur Rogion up to 3rd after the Nielsen cars pitted. So Rogion has done 3 stops. The 2 cars in front have not. JB is back in for the final stop for this car. They have played a really interesting strategic game, haven't they? They put in Simonauer, the hunter killer, at the start to keep the car clean, and there's not a mark on it, to get to the overall race lead, and they are still in the hunt for the class.
Well, they're still leading the class, and their nearest rivals is this car, also on pit lane, with Matteo Cressoni. So who's going to be out this first? It's going to be a race to the flag.
Yes, it is. There goes the number 4 Nielsen car. Number 7 has had a bit of a tidy and a wash and brush it. Look, that's your GT3 lead battle right there. The Porsche still in the air, the McLaren on the ground waiting to be released. So advantage McLaren at the moment.
The key thing here, absolutely need to be spot on the stopwatch.
Yeah. Make it a second longer deliberately, because you're more likely to make that up on track than you are to negate a drive-through plus 1 second stop and go.
Little doubt, by the way, Lenny Reed is pushing to make sure that he's built up an advantage to offset the final pit stop that he must make.
I was about to say that to Theo, actually. When we saw him in the Porsche curves there, that car was moving around a lot. He was properly pushing hard.
But it's not about the second place car, because they too need to stop. It's about the 3rd place car.
Yeah.
This could be a good fight all the way to the end.
It really, really could. This is setting up nicely.
And when we saw the 2 Brutal Fish by Campos cars in the pit lane and Lenny Reed went by, he did put a lap on them. So that's the gap. 71, just avoiding dramas. And that is the Rinaldi racing car that is 2nd in LMP2 Pro-Am. Less avoidance there, I'm afraid, for the Ferrari. And that is the end of the road for the 83 car.
Andrew Rackstraw, by the way, on pit lane, but we'll be getting a drive-through penalty of track limits for that car. Sorry, Theo.
We spoke about how crucial the safety cars can be with the 3 different safety cars, 3 different positions. That, what, 5-second gap from the leading Campos to the second Campos that turned into 2 minutes. There's still a 2-minute gap between them. So,
Racing Spirit Le Mans take the lead in GT3. Valentino Hazzaclo, he has pitted 3 times. Have they played a blind here, or has he not done 3 long stops? And we don't know.
Drive-through penalty for car number 49 for track limits. And not one of our front runners. That is high class. It's Andrew Rackstraw, you just said. Yeah, he is getting a penalty. He's just left the pit lane, so he's going to have to come through again. Here's the other high class car, Lenny Reed, leading the race from Matthias Pluschkel, who is not behind him because he is 2 minutes 45 adrift. And this is a long stop. What's going on? Oh, it's another legality panel. Another wedge needing to be fitted.
Recent pit stoppers all okay on pit stop time. GT3 at the moment, Racing Spirit Le Mans lead in the Aston Martin number 10 in the hands of Valentino Haas-Clos, a man who will be racing tomorrow and into Sunday for the same team in a similar car in the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Kessel Racing's Jacques Toa sits second. He's less than 2.5 seconds back from the race leader in GT3. Then Jean-Baptiste Simonau has emerged. He's right with the Kessel Racing car in third. United Autosports Garnet Patterson is right with Jean-Baptiste Simonau, and then Matteo Cressoni 20 seconds back from that group. GT3 is going to the wire.
Yes,
no doubt at all.
No question. Leaders in. Lenny Reed for high class for the final time. The chasing cars are doing 4-minute 20, 4-minute 19s. He's going to be stationary for 2 minutes 55.
Well, he's going to be on pit lane for 2 minutes 55. The crucial thing here is getting that absolutely right. 2:55 is the target here. Fuel is going in. That'll be absolutely fine within the allotted time. 35 minutes to go. Closest car to him on the road is the BWT Muka Motorsport, the pink Duqueine, the number 8, but that car too needs to make its final stop. A further 39 seconds behind that, so 3 minutes and 24 seconds back, is the number 12 Brutal Fish by Campos Racing. Sort of argue here, any uncertainty, give it an extra couple of seconds, you've got that edge.
Well, that's what they did with the 10-second penalty. So a 2-minute 55 is the minimum pit stop time. With that 10-second penalty, should have been 3:05. They took 3:08. So they gave themselves time to get to the end of that, then start a 10-second count, then pause go.
Yeah.
So they made sure they weren't short either on the pit stop time per se or the 10-second penalty either, and so they gave away 3 seconds, which is a lot of time even on a circuit this length in a 3-hour race, but it's much less than the penalty if you shortchange them on your pit stop time.
So it's going to be very close in terms of the second place car on the road getting to the start-finish line. Number 9 car, number 8 car coming out of Arnage now.
Here is our Pro-Am leader, Wayne Boyd, for many years with United Autosports, but Nat is now in the M Racing car. Gillian Henrion is second in the Motorsport 98 car. Into Europol's 34, Sean Rashid, that's the podium now, ahead of DKR by not much. Meanwhile, this is Matthias Pluschkel in the pink car, in second. The BWT Muka Motorsport car, that's a Duqueine chasing the Ligier of Lenny Reed. Lenny still sitting, stewing in the car, and in they come.
But interestingly, it's the leader's teammates taking that penalty that is the car in front of the BWT Muka car. I wonder whether or not there might have been just a tiny bit of team politics in play there. That's fine.
That's just the way it works. The Muka car caught him but didn't get by the Pro-Am car.
We now wait for the Brittle Fish by Campos car, the 12 cars the next car we're looking for. He's at Porsche out right now. What about high class? They must be ready to go.
Well, Lenny Reed still shown as in the pit lane. We'll find out in a moment as the other high-class car pulls in.
Where's the 12 car? 12 car coming to the end of the lap.
BWT now, are losing this.
Lenny Reed is out and running, and it's a 3 minutes and 9 second pit stop. They've given themselves a bit of a margin. He's out and running. What's the gap to the next timing beam between High Class Racing and Arthur Rogion in the Brutal Fish by Campos car? That's the race, 15.5 seconds.
Yep, and Brutal Fish move up to second. BWT Muka, as you see, still in the pit lane, or only just arrived in the pit lane.
It won't quite be that. We need to see the first timing beam on this lap. And this 12 car, oh, it's a slow zone.
Oh, yes, okay.
So it's double yellows.
Okay.
It's not a slow zone. It's just double yellows.
Yeah, double yellows at Marshall's post 6, and that is actually Tertre Rouge. So although we're not being notified, it is a slow zone. It is a slow zone.
Yeah, I just saw the panel.
There they are. That's your lead 2. That is your lead 2.
I think that was the Pro-Am high class.
Ah, the one that did the drive-through? Yeah, maybe
Yes,
so. Actually,
it is.
yes, maybe so. Yep.
But the gap, we'll wait and see. Because under slow zone, it's going to be a different gap. So we'll measure that gap when we get down to Mulsanne corner on this lap. There was the number 9 car.
Fuel hose man is hovering, but he was waved away. So I'm assuming they don't need fuel. They were 3rd. They're now down to 5th. And despite that short slow zone, high-class lead from Brutal Fish by Campos. ANS Motorsport up to 3rd place.
And Luis Iglesias is very quick indeed. This could be quite the race for the overall.
He still has one more pit stop to do.
He does.
My question is, with Wayne Boyd in the M Racing, it says they've done 4 pit stops, but the last one was clearly short of a long stop. So have they done all of their pit stops, or do they need to pit again?
Was one very early in the race? Am I misremembering that? Oh, get out of the gravel. Watching your mirrors as all the front runners come. There's DKR. DKR are currently 4th in LMP3, Anton and Canel.
This is really, really close for the overall lead. We're coming down to Mulsanne corner with a group of cars led by the number 20 car of Lenny Reid. He's going to cross the timing beam in just a few moments.
This is the GT battle. The yellow, so the McLaren leads. The yellow nose, that's 2nd. The Gulf McLaren is 3rd. Behind is the Kessel Racing Ferrari. Behind is the Get Speed Mercedes. Behind is the BMW. Behind are the 2 Ferraris. This is the entire GT battle.
Brilliant stuff. 2.3 seconds for the overall lead as well. So through the carnage, through the chaos, God grief, with under half an hour to go now, we're into it now.
This is properly bonkers. United's orange and black McLaren leads. SMC's Gulf McLaren is 2nd. Racing Spirit Le Mans with the yellow highlights 3rd. Okay, Kessel Racing, the 21 Ferrari in 4th.
It is.
And so that means that the Team WRT BMW is out of sync. That's not in that battle.
It's a lap down.
So the 21 Ferrari is the black car. The 51 Ferrari is the blue car. So that's not in this battle either. That's down in 10th.
It's 1 to 4 in this battle. It's United, SMC, Racing Spirit Le Mans, Kessel, McLaren, Aston Martin, Ferrari.
But the 51 blue Ferrari is chasing the BMW. They're a lap back, but that's for position as well. Oh my goodness.
Side by side, Lenny Reid and Arthur Rogion.
So that's the 20. That black car is the 21 Kessel Racing Ferrari. Well, we're not seeing that, but Lenny Reid with Arthur Rogion, they were just 100th of a second apart at the start-finish line.
I think Arthur Rogion has gone through and taken the lead.
And this Ferrari battle is not for position. They are a lap apart. The 51 car is chasing the BMW. It is not for position. Let's see the leaders. I know we need to see some GT cars, but this is not the battle, and this is not the time. That is the battle, and that is the change of lead. Brutal Fish by Campos, Arthur Rogion ahead of High Class Racing's Lenny Reid. There is the number 20 car. So where did that happen?
This is 71 with problems at the rear of the car.
Being in the wars. Didn't they just put that on at the last stop? And the answer is not very well.
I think the answer is I think they did the other one.
Ah, okay.
Looks like somebody else has had a bit of a dusty moment at Rouge again.
Wouldn't be the first, won't be the last. And Arthur Rogion getting through past the Get Speed Mercedes there as they came through Tertre Rouge, coming onto the straight with a head of steam. Over 2 seconds clear now of Lenny Reid with the red and white high-class car in second place. And again, look at the speed of the GT3 cars.
Third and fourth overall. ANS Motorsports number 9, Luis Iglesias and Augustin Bernier for Breton Racing in the 26 car. They are making their final pit stops now. That puts Wayne Boyd at the moment up into an overall podium position.
Well, that takes them right out because Matthias Rieber in the Brutal Fish by Campos car now moves up to third place. He was only 13 seconds behind them. So Brutal Fish by Campos are going to be first and third, showing High Class as the race leader. That's not what my eye is showing me.
It is what's happened there then.
No,
that must be a
That's a glitch, because there's the Brutal Fish by Campos, car number 12, Arthur Rogion, and behind is the high-class number 20 car. It's not their Pro-Am car. Meanwhile, look at the McLarens battling for the GT3 lead. United versus SMC Motorsport. United is Garnet Patterson, JB Simonauer behind. This is not an even battle, I'm afraid. Garnet Patterson, not the pro driver in this car. JB Simonauer very much is in the SMC car.
Timing has corrected. It is Arthur Rogion pulling away from Lenny Reed. Wayne Boyd 52 seconds back, but up into third place overall. Yes. Fourth and third in the LMP3 class is the second Brutal Fish car, but it's all about GT as well. And Jean-Baptiste Simonauer is catching Garnet Patterson. JB
Simonauer across the gravel there, doesn't care. He's a rally crosser. Gravel loose, I don't mind. In the pits, Louis Iglesias and Augustin Bernier, ANS and Breton, they were running third and fourth, but they owed us a stop, so they're dropping back down. They'll be doing well if they stay in the top 10. They should just be in point-scoring territory. Racing Spirit of Le Mans third in GT with that number 10 Aston Martin, and the 21 black Ferrari stuck behind the BMW is fourth place.
Unlucky to deal with that. So we're into this phase of the race, 25 minutes to go. Healthy dose of luck, some clever strategy, but somehow it's come down to two fine battles, one for the overall win and one in GT3, which could go any way of four at this stage of the race.
Yeah, it looks like Wayne Boyd in third place for M Racing. This could be a massive result for Justine Monnier's team. Motorsport 98's in second in Pro-Am, and Inter Europol's 34 car in third in Pro-Am. But how close is 14 seconds back is the number 3 DKR car. So in 25 minutes, that might change as well. The black Ferrari here, not able to get even onto terms with that BMW, which is a lap back. The 21 car is struggling. The 51 car a lap behind him. His own teammate is going to go by. It does look like Kessel may not get a podium in GT.
We've got notes on screens. Under investigation, not following race director's instructions at Marshall's Post 1. A group of cars that includes the second place overall car of Lenny Reed. Also the 21, the 55, the 54, the 43 and the 70. See if you had any of those on your bingo card. Unlucky. Fastest lap of the race goes to the race leader, Arthur Rogion, a 350.292. He is pulling away the lead again.
Graham, penalty for the 21 Kessel Racing Ferrari you just talked about. They're fourth. That's going to take them pretty much out of the top 10.
If it's a penalty.
If there's a penalty. Yeah, so...
Oh, big step out there from the number 19 car. This is Matheus Rieber trying to get onto terms with Wayne Boyd. He's got to make up 30 seconds. That battle between the two McLarens, though, is getting closer and closer and closer.
Yeah, JB Simonauer now has full missile lock-on to the United Autosport McLaren in front.
Another thing to note, there's a lot of track limits coming in. So, and we've just seen some cars under investigation for track limits as well.
Car number 49 under investigation for a 6th track limit infringement. And that is which of our LMP3 cars? That's high classes Pro-Am car, Andrew Rackstraw and Michael Hove. So that's the car we just saw with a penalty for another offence.
Yep.
JB Simonauer will pick his position here, putting the pace, the pressure on into Mulsanne corner. Yeah, again, gravel all over the track. I don't care. I'm a rally crosser, used to that. So Simonauer right in the wheel tracks of the United Autosport car. This is for the lead in GT with 22 minutes to go. Garnet Patterson doing a really good job, keeping the line clean. That's all you can do in this situation, isn't it? Just keep the line clean and try and deny him an easy victory.
Well, Brutal Fish by Campos have got the pace at this stage of the race. 4 seconds quicker last time around than Lenny Reed in high-class racing. Led leading into that last flurry of pit stops.
Yeah, that one is starting to peter out. LMP3 Pro-Am very much in the hands of Wayne Boyd. This is RHGP, the pink car 85, pink highlights rather than the pink car BWC Mocha, chasing Brutal Fish by Campos. That's the battle for third in LMP3. Not overall, fourth overall, but it will be an LMP3 podium. Brutal Fish just ahead of RHGP. Matus Rieber being chased by Enzo Peugeot.
Yeah, no relation to the Peugeot family that's involved, of course, in the famous car brand. But boy, this kid is quick, and he's beginning to get onto terms with Matus Rieber. This is going to be a battle, I think, to the flag between this pair.
Yeah, this is shaping up very nicely.
It's a good exit from the RHGP as well.
So are we going to get three different teams on the podium? Well, we are likely to in GT. United Autosports lead SMC Motorsport. That's this battle. Racing Spirit Le Mans 3 seconds ahead of Kessel Racing, but a potential penalty coming to the 21 Kessel Racing Ferrari, and that might move Get Speed a little bit closer. Steve Jans at the moment is about 25 seconds behind Valentin Aciclo, so he's not going to catch him. The number 9 diving in the middle of the two there, the ANS Motorsport of Louis Iglesias, just separating the McLarens, and JB Simonau will have not enjoyed that, having worked hard to get back onto the tail of the United McLaren, being separated by a quicker car. Now looking here, this is the third place car, isn't it?
This was the last lap, big step out the rear of the car there. Did well to cover that back up.
And that's when Enzo Peugeot really closed up on Matus Rieber. And here they are, nearly a lap later. Well, SMC challenging for the lead of the race. JB Simonau started. Let's hear from his teammate, Gonzalo de Andres Martin.
Gonzalo de Andres Martin, co-driver to the number 77.
I think we've lost comms there with Steph. So back to the action and back to Gonzalo's car, pushing hard to get onto terms with United Autosports car. This is going to be a great battle.
And actually, he got a little bit held up that time, Theo, by the number 9 car coming by. So it's sort of on as even. That's closed the SMC Gulf McLaren right back up on the heels of the black and orange car.
It's constantly changing. The gap's coming down and then going back up, and it's ebbing and flowing all the way. But as soon as you get in that slipstream, it gets so powerful. And as soon as you come on to the main straight, you know, coming out of Tetra Rouge with a good exit, slipstream all the way, all of a sudden it starts to come big fight.
And being here in the RHGP car, the car with the pink highlights, doing the chasing, in the high-speed stuff, you're losing a bit of grip. But you know that the Mulsanne is coming. This is your opportunity. He's perfectly placed now, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Same here as well. I mean, good exit out of here onto the Mulsanne straight, all the way down in the slipstream. You've got such a long run. The main thing is you've got to try and manage the limiter, because in these cars, if you go a little bit too fast, you can hit the limiter and end up losing speed. So you actually need to sort of play a game of trying to manage it, you know, get alongside them, don't go too fast. But at the moment, it's getting very, very close towards the front.
Really, really impressed here by our leader, Garnet Patterson. I had this as JB Simonau catching him and passing him, but that has not been the case. The McLaren's clearly very equal, as are these two, Matus Rieber and Enzo Peugeot. The battle for third place in LMP3, not overall, but third in LMP3. A podium here at Le Mans, on the new podium here at Le Mans. That's going to be a special day for whichever of these crews ends up in that third place in LMP3 spot.
Yeah, looking to see what advantage can be gathered, and another interesting part of this, of course, it is Alicia ahead of a Decane. Is there a straight line speed advantage either in the tow or without the tow? Well, we're going to find out the next 17 minutes for sure. Both these young drivers going very well indeed here. Here are the two McLarens. Garnet Patterson, South Australian. Just met him as racing in the Asia Le Mans Series LMP2 back in the day. And he's now been a regular part of the United Autosport setup. Oh, big wiggle there. And that's going to be through the gravel. Yep. Just trying to scrub off speed, not easy, did pretty well there.
And then you have to follow around, don't you, on that hard standing before you're allowed to rejoin. So still with the battle for third place, Matthias Rieber and Enzo Peugeot. Peugeot flashing the headlights, more in hope than anticipation of something happening. We talked about this a little bit, Dangerous Dave and I, on the way down. Don't bother flashing your headlights in a straight. You're not going to confuse him. He knows you're there. The headlight flashing thing, the showing your nose thing, jerking in his mirrors, that's what you do when he's in the braking phase, when the car is on the limit, when making a difference will make a difference. Distract him on the straight. You're not distracting him. Just stop it.
Well, so here, this is going to be an LMP3 car inserting itself into this battle, just tucked under the rear wing of Jean-Baptiste Simonal. He's not going to want that.
No, and the LMP3 car does not have that speed advantage. We've seen the top speed of the GT cars is very, very close indeed, if not better than the LMP3s. Even with the slipstream, this P3 car is going to struggle to slingshot by.
McLaren at Le Mans has been part of the story since the 1995, that famous win. They'll be back in the overall top class next year with the new hypercar. They've been back in the LMGT3 era with the version of these cars, and this is a cracking battle between the two, and he's going for it.
Simonal having to show his nose on the outside, but Garnet Patterson allowed him to. He knew that he couldn't come through on the inside. This is really good racecraft from the Aussie. Garnet Patterson looking to take a win at Le Mans. He is clinging to this with every ounce of his driving ability, and he's doing a really good job. JB Simonal is very experienced in all sorts of motorsport, and he is all over the back of the 95 McLaren. Again, 95, that totemic number for McLaren, and JB right behind him, desperate also to win this race at Le Mans and stand on that podium. And he is, I mean, he's so close behind the back of the orange and black machine. He's almost inside the exhaust pipes of the McLaren.
Yeah, a bit of a nibble there at Mulsanne corner. Don't think there was contact, but it was mighty close. That LMP3 car's ducked out of this for the time being.
Well, he can't keep the pace, can he? JB, I mean, underneath the splitter of the diffuser of the car in front at, what, 170, 80, almost 190 miles an hour. This is bonkers close racing.
14 minutes to go. Arthur Rochon, lest we forget, leads the race overall. 13 seconds clear now of Lenny Reed, another third-generation racer here, son, of course, of Christian Reed, the team principal of Proton Competition. That's the 1-2. Third overall is an LMP3 Pro Am car in the hands of Wayne Boyd, the M Racing number 78. Car run with United Autosports here. And behind that, it's another close battle for the... Did he touch him? He did touch him.
Oh, just the tiniest
just a warning
touches.
touch. That's all it is. Just warning him he's there.
Now,
I think he knows.
The car behind is the 36 Ajit Red Ant car. It's over on your screen. Is that still Narain Kartikeyan?
I believe it. Is it not the ANS car? It's the other ANS car.
It's the other ANS car. That's not an Ajit Red Ant car.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong pair of cars.
I believe it might be the other ANS car. So these McLarens are going to be getting PTSD because they've just been overtaken by one, and now they've got another one straight behind them.
We do have one Christensen here. I know is it a nephew of Tom, but I don't think it's this one. The ANS car. There we go. There's Richard Dean to the right. Won the race at Le Mans here 20 years ago in GT2 in the panels. The first car to beat the Porsche Stranglehold on GT2, together with Tom Kimber-Smith and Lawrence Tomlinson. And of course, Ginetta played a key role in LMP3 in the early days. Won that again, by the way, last year in LMP3 Pro-Am. And He's here, of course, as the co-team owner of United Autosports, involved here in the GT3 battle, in the LMP3 Pro-Am battle, and of course in the big race in LMP2, and back next year with McLaren in hypercar. Another team with a lot of irons and a lot of fires.
This is the battle for third place. Matthias Rieber, the first of these two cars, looks like he's done enough just to pull away from Enzo Peugeot. Peugeot still flashing the headlights again. That's going to do nothing, not going to distract Matthias Rieber, and so that looks like that's a done deal. Is this for position?
This is for the podium of Pro-Am.
Yes. So this is DKR, and into Europol's Rashid Shawn, passed by Canton Antonell for third place in Pro-Am.
Coming back after the strategy didn't quite go their way with the ebb and flow of this race. Slow zone, safety car, all sorts of things thrown in the mix, and there will be strategists up and down this pit lane ready for a good lie down in a quiet, dark place for a couple of weeks after this one.
Yeah, they're not the only ones either. Alexander Bakansov, Shawn Rashid in that United car. They've had 2 poles so far this season and 2 top 5 finishes. They've yet to finish on the podium. Did not get the pole position point here. There's another of the Inter-Europol cars in the pit lane having another legality piece attached to the car, and Arthur Rogion still leading Lenny Reed now by 13.9 seconds. Matthias Rieber, how far ahead? 1.3 ahead of Enzo Peugeot, so sort of a tenth of that distance, but it's enough, I think, to have discouraged Enzo Peugeot. Wayne Boyd leading by a country mile in Pro-Am, Gillian Henrion in second, Canton Antonell up to third, but he's over 20 seconds behind. United Autosports and SMC, it could be a photo finish. It genuinely could in GT3. Racing Spirit Le Mans third. Kessel Racing's Ferrari, the 21 car, slowing in fourth, and the Get Speed Mercedes you're looking at there in fifth position, car number 14.
And it needs to keep it clean. We're beginning to get a few more warnings on the track under investigation, track limits. The closer you are in these battles, the more likely, I'm afraid, it is that might get a little bit over the literal line.
The A&S Motorsport car that did get by the McLaren battle has just set the fastest lap of the race, 3:49.760 for Luis Iglesias, so not much holding him back, not much chance of catching any cars in front though, as we watch again Garnet Patterson in the orange and black McLaren holding off Jean-Baptiste Simonard in the Gulf McLaren.
Well, the consolation, at least for Luis Iglesias, he's at least down a point-scoring position in the championship. It will not be much of a consolation, though.
Mikkel Christensen in that A&S Motorsport car behind the 2 McLarens has gone, okay, forget it. Just forget it. It's too much trouble. I can't get by one. I'm definitely not getting by both of them in one go. I think he's just sitting there. The team have probably said, look, you're not going to catch anybody in front of you for position.
Well, the car in front of him for position is the team car, and that's the car that's just set the fastest lap of the race. So I think you're exactly right. I think they've told him, hold position.
Yeah, don't get involved in this. Finish the race. It's your race. It's your Le Mans. Just enjoy it. Sit back, enjoy it, learn what you can from them. But again, it's a tough job to pass a really aggressively driven GT car, even in a good LMP3.
Trouble, I think, there could be another timing glitch. We've seen that before for the number 8 car, currently dropping down the order a little. Let's wait and see if that bounces back. It does. So it's simply a timing glitch to the number 8.
Yeah, Maximilian Rangelard in 5th place in LMP3.
But it's under pressure, and big pressure, from Jules Caranta in the number 4 Nielsen Racing Duquesne, and that is for 6th position overall, 5th in LMP3. And now we've got the Ligier taking a look again at the back of the second of the McLarens.
Yeah, again, more in hope than anticipation of anything happening, I suggest. And it's difficult, you know, because you want to drive the car to its maximum because that stops you nodding off and, you know, crashing it. But also, these cars are going to be very, very tough to get by.
Yeah, Jean-Baptiste Simonard, I think, has just taken a little bit of a, well, technically speaking, a breather. All of a sudden, seems to be rather more aggressive here, and I think he's looking to have another crack at Garnet Patterson on this lap.
Another thing to note is the track limits. It's not been too bad, but they've been picking them up slowly, and if they're not if they're not careful enough, it could start to rack up and end up in penalties.
I was looking further back when we had a shot at the chicane. You could see car number 10, Racing Spirit of Le Mans Aston Martin, but not lapping quite as quickly as these two. These two are in clear air, and actually the two of them together, as long as they're not dicing too much, will travel faster down the straights than that Aston on its own, the one with the yellow mouth. So Valentin Astor-Clos, despite all his ability, struggling to close that gap to them, and he's not quite close enough now. Looking here at car number 12, this is our race leader, Arthur Grosjean. So the car behind him, the GG Classics car, has gone a lap back.
I would say we are running out of time, but Mathis Rieber is catching Wade Boyd relatively quickly. He is 18 seconds back. We've only got 7 minutes remaining, so there's, what, 2 racing laps to go in this Road to Le Mans, this first 3-hour event for Road to Le Mans. It's not been clean, but it has been entertaining, and I think you have to say this has been a success as a format.
I think Mathis Rieber has to catch Wayne Boyd by 20 seconds on this lap to stand any chance of getting by him on the last lap, and frankly, that's not happening. So he'll close the gap a little, but it won't be. I mean, he'll still be on the podium in LMP3. In fact, Wayne Boyd, either that's a timing glitch or something. He appears to have dropped a couple of places, but
it goes back
with our leaders, United Autosports and SMC Motorsports. This is the 1-2 in GT. Racing Spirit of Le Mans not under attack from behind for third place, but nowhere near this battle. And right now, Theo Mercouris sort of sense that JB Simonau's got nothing left to argue with, and here comes the ANS car.
The ANS car's finally getting involved.
I think these two may just have used what tyre was left on the car.
We'll see how desperate they get. I mean, with the time ticking down, they're going to start to be looking for every single gap possible. It's going to start to get desperate, and then that's when it can start to get a bit messy.
5 minutes, 27 to go. 2 to go.
Another fastest lap of the race from Luis Iglesias. He's now with Sean Rashid for 13th overall. He's already a point-scoring position in his class. He's looking at this stage, trying to make up a couple of positions in the last dying moments of this race.
Yeah, he's not going to add more points to the tally because he won't get to 9th in LMP3. The cars in front of him the overall are in Pro-Am.
This is not done in GT3. I think Simonau has got a car underneath him that he thinks he can challenge here with. I don't think he's nibbling away at every corner. I think he's biding his time. I think he thinks he can do this.
Well, he's also probably getting increasingly frustrated with the P3 car behind. It keeps showing its nose. Into the pit lane comes car number 2, Rinaldi Racing's Stylianos Kolovos.
I think that's a drive-through for track limits.
Yeah, I think we heard that was being served. So overall, brutal finish by Campos from high class. M Racing in 3rd overall and leading Pro-Am. Brutal finish by Campos will have 2 cars on the LMP3 podium. Penultimate time into Mulsanne corner and again into the second chicane. And again, JB Simonau showing first chicane. JB Simonau showing his nose once more to the United Autosports car. But look, they are slowing themselves down because here's the race leader. The second car behind in that queue is car number 12, Arthur Grosjean. And at some stage, they're seeing blue flags. I know it's the guy behind. What they won't know is that the race leader is behind as well. Simonau might be running out of time here because if the team say you've got to let the leader by, that could be enough to separate the 2 McLarens.
And the difference here could be how quick and how accurate and how clever the team are on the radio to the 2 McLaren cars. Now, the United Autosports guys are very wise to this. SMC Motorsport have got some good guys involved as well, but you're right, danger zone right here, and this is the lead battle. Takes a look again at the outside. It's not going to happen there. Looking to see if he can get the cut back. Is there room? He's certainly going to try and get side by side, but good drive from Garnet Patterson off Mulsanne corner. 3 minutes to go.
And the A&S car has now dropped back a couple of spots because it is the race leader behind this duo, Arthur Grosjean. He's not under attack from Lenny Reed. He can afford to follow them round. He's 20 seconds ahead of the second place car. That's not in the shot, but he's showing his nose early. Simoneau looking around the outside, coming down into Indianapolis as well. It is a passing opportunity. He shows on the inside, all four wheels off track. They just survived there without contact, but if he'd passed, he would have had to give that back. He was clearly inside the white line, all four wheels. We don't do the pass on the grass here.
Yeah, passing opportunity, but also looking to unsettle the car ahead. But look behind this snarling little pack of LMP3 cars looking for an opportunity to get by, and that could be a factor. We're going to have one more racing lap for this battle in GT3, and it could not be closer.
Well, if they stay ahead of the leader, for another lap, they'll get 2 racing laps, because the checkered flag will be shown to the leader and not to the car that's about to go a lap down. So the checkered flag will be for the car that's behind them. So they have at least 1 to go, and we might possibly be looking at 2.
That was the Garage 59 crew, and they, of course, are the nominated McLaren team in the FI World Endurance Championship these days, taking great interest in the form of these cars. Couldn't be happier with the McLaren 1-2 at the moment.
Everybody looking at everybody in this queue. This is the GT lead battle and the overall race leader right behind them. The other 2 cars are not in contention. They're not on the lead lap, but it is about whether or not these 2 guys in the McLarens are told to let the race leader through. If they're still in front of him in a lap's time, they will get 1 more lap. This is, I mean, what do you do if you're JB Simoneau's team, SMC Motorsport? Don't let the leader through. We need the extra lap to try and get the win. But if you're United's, you don't want him to have that extra lap. You want the leader to come past. You'll follow him just for this final lap. So it's the last lap for the leader, but the GT battle is just in danger of going a lap down. The blue flags, I think, are waving slightly fruitlessly, and I'm not quite sure what the car behind Arthur Grosjean thinks he's doing, but I don't think Grosjean is appreciating that pressure from behind either. It's a lapped car. Grosjean alongside the McLaren. He's going to put his nose in. Yes, he does. Is that the deciding move? Because now JB Simoneau will not get an extra lap. It's this or not at all.
Cracking stuff to this point. Is there anything left in this GT battle?
I think you'll be able to get him into the chicane, so I think they'll both be back on the final lap.
There will still be 3, 4, 5, 9 overtaking opportunities, depending on just how blunt a tool you decide to employ here.
Yeah, Arthur Grosjean down the inside, and again, I'm sure that United have told Garnet Patterson, you've got to let him go. Now shut the door. Just one, not 2, just 1.
This is 1-2 in a comfortable 3rd place now. Valentino Hazaclo in his Racing Sprint Le Mans, Aston Martin in GT3. All 3 of those, by the way, in the top 20 overall. This is the battle, not just for the lead in GT, but for 15th place in this race overall.
Our colleagues
on the inside.
Down the inside, JB Simoneau sends it for the final time into Mulsanne corner, bumping and boring. The LMP3 cars come by. It's 3 wide. Contact. The United Autosport car of Garnet Patterson is in the barriers. So is whatever the other car was, and JB Simoneau seems to have survived. A final lap contact down at Mulsanne corner. Simoneau comes out unscathed. Whichever of the other lap cars it was, I think it was, I can't tell who it was, but that United Autosports McLaren, that exactly is what they did not want to happen.
Well, it is the 29 car. It's the Forestier Racing car. And that was a car looking to unlap itself from the leader, maybe a little bit too eagerly.
That car started in 5th place. So, I mean, wow, that could have been the end of the race for Arthur Grosjean as well. I don't think he knows quite what a bullet he dodged there. He must have seen in his mirrors here, Makuris, stuff happening behind him. but at least it was behind him on the last lap at Le Mans.
Yeah, it would have been pure panic. He would have been going into that corner, not even looking at where the corner is, just purely looking in his mirror, saying, do I need to come off the brake? What do I need to do? How do I avoid them? Seeing both cars making contact all the way into the corner and the way out as well. Yeah. So, very glad he got away with that, because that could have been a disaster for the team.
No way away from Mulsanne corner for the 95 car. Garnet Patterson, he's now dropped out of a podium position. It is going to be the SMC Motorsport car that avoided that contact. There was a bit of a clash into Mulsanne corner, but the ultimate contact was not involving our race leader in GT.
Checkered flag thrown a little bit early for some random cars. Here is our, okay, we've lost our race winner. Brutal Fish by Campos. Arthur Rojon came across the line and is the race winner. And there is the SMC Motorsport car taking the checkered flag as well at the head of the GT field. So there is your race winner, Brutal Fish by Campos. They didn't win when they could have done in Barcelona. They didn't win when they could have done in Le Castellet. They save it for Le Mans, and the biggest LMP3 race that we have seen.
Yeah, high-class racing's Lenny Reed brings it home in second. This is the incident. This was someone out up the inside. There was a bit of rubbing here, but this was not the contact that ended the race for Garnet Patterson. Got away from there, a little bit of a nibble up the inside, and then 3 wide. Patterson looking to squeeze the McLaren, and in doing so, it was a 3-way contact that saw Patterson spin out. Watch it from this angle. Hit there by the SMC car. Tried to cover off and block.
It is Garnet Patterson who is the architect of his own demise.
I think it might be. I think he moved over way too much, but he had 2 cars next to him. They weren't fully there, but...
He will say, and he's correct, he was hit by the SMC car off the apex of that corner, but the defence was pretty radical from Garnet.
There is work to do in the stewards room. 78 M Racing. What a result for the 78 car. LMP3 Pro-Am victory and 3rd place overall. The GT3 winner with a little bit of damage on the front of the McLaren is JB Simonauer.
Well, it could have been 2 United Autosports effective liveried cars on the podiums here, but clearly we've not got the McLaren finishing first as it sat for the last few minutes of this race, but the 78 car, which has won LMP3 Pro-Am, that is entered with assistance from United, they will at least get the consolation. I'm sure it will feel like that after that little lot, that one United livery car is going to be on a top step of a podium today.
So, Brutal Fish by Campos win LMP3 from high class, with Brutal Fish taking the 3rd podium spot. M Racing, the LMP3 Pro-Am winners from Motorsport 98 and the number 3 car from DKR. And in GT, SMC Motorsport from Racing Spirit of Le Mans and Kessel Racing's 21 Ferrari takes the 3rd and final podium spot. Well, that was busy to say the least. And I mean, you're the race leader in car number 12. You see them hoving up the inside 2 wide. Wow.
You can see the panic mid-corner. He comes off the brakes thinking, oh, they're going to hit me, they're going to hit me.
Yeah.
But instead it all happens behind and it turns into absolute chaos.
You're the race driver of the trio of us, Theo. It looked to me like Garnet realised with the contact he'd lost momentum and was going to get out dragged here. Now watch the reaction.
Shuts the door, but also makes contact with Rui Mayhouse in that blue Forestier Racing by VPS car, who had no dog in that fight.
Who also hit, by the way, the A&S car.
Yeah. I think he had no idea there was a 3rd car alongside. Started to move across very aggressively, and all pinched into one corner.
With all of that, we need to complete the story on the podium finishes. There is the race winner, Brutal Fish by Campos. Great race from them, no doubt about it at all. High Class Racing's number 20 car takes 2nd place overall. 3rd place overall is the LMP3 Pro-Am leader as the field makes its way through the debris field. Then racing brought home by Wayne Boyd.
Garnet Patterson on the left, helmet off, thumbs up there to JB Simonau as Simonau came past.
Okay, good
now,
on him.
I don't know who else he might have been giving the thumbs up to. I don't think he's got a teammate anywhere in there, so I can only assume that he's giving the thumbs up to JB Simonau.
Well, we'll give him that. Brittlefishh by Campos, by the way, will complete the podium in LMP3 with a 1-3 because their number 19 car, brought home by Matis Reaper, finishes 4th. LMP3 Pro-Am second is Motorsport 98. Gillian Henrion brings that car home just outside the overall top 10. DKR Engineering, Continental fall back to a podium place their first year here with Ligier in the number 3. SMC Motorsports McLaren wins. Racing Spirit Le Mans number 10, Aston Martin second. And with all that melee, that means that we've got the Get Speed car from Steve Jans.
No, 21 Kessel Racing Ferrari finished 3rd in GT.
It's gone. It's lost time with penalties, I think.
Oh, okay.
So Get Speed inherits the podium with the number 14 car. So a car that won last year, the number 14 Get Speed AMG. It is McLaren, Aston Martin, AMG.
Yeah, so 21 Kessel Ferrari has just been notified, stop and go penalty plus a second post-race penalty. So, so they drop out of what was a fairly comfortable podium position.
We've got a fair number of other penalties being pulled into this. I'm just going to double check. And
Kenton Antonell in that number 3 DKR car, when he was bouncing along the grass in the exit of the S's, I bet he was not thinking, yeah, I've got this podium locked in now.
Well,
what a bit of it.
Before we get into podiums, a quick thank you to Theo. It must have been a massive disappointment not to be in this race, and thank you for reaching out and offering your services today. It's been invaluable.
It was a good one to watch. I think it would have been a bit more fun to be involved as long as we kept it clean, but no, it was good to be here.
Be careful what you wish for.
Well, we certainly wish you luck for the rest of the season, the rest of the career, and yeah, it's. I agree with you. Always better to be involved than to be standing here talking about it. But great to have the insight of someone who's been there and done that.
And it's great to see the new format. I mean, it was a brilliant race throughout. It was a bit messy at times, but to be fair, I think it was a lot cleaner than at least what I expected. And we got some brilliant racing throughout. So
we definitely got more racing laps than we would have done in 2 50-minute sprints. I think that's exactly what they were hoping for.
Yeah, and only one safety car as well. Well, 3 safety cars, but only one safety car period.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well,
ended up, by the way, with 40 finishers in that race.
Yeah,
56 starters.
Which it feels like that's quite a high number considering everything that went on. So the cars being turned around are top 3 cars as they will head to the podium. Brittlefishh by Campos are LMP3 winners. M Racing, car number 78, are LMP3 Pro-Am winners. And car number 77, the SMC Motorsport, Gulf McLaren. Not sure whether 21 Ferrari thinks it's going. They're probably heading off into scrutineering. Actually, that'll be the top 3. 21 was not in the end in the top 3. It's 5th in LMGT3. So overall, Brittlefishh by Campos, High Class and Brittlefishh. That's your LMP3 podium. M Racing finishing 3rd overall, as well as Pro-Am winners from Motorsport 98 and DKR Engineering. And then SMC's Gulf McLaren winning it in GT from Racing Spirit Le Mans, Aston Martin, and the Get Speed Mercedes finishing 3rd. Not far ahead. How much not far ahead of the Dynamic GT? 2 seconds. The battle between that Mercedes and the Porsche at the end.
Yeah, Steve Jan's been chased by Matteo Cressoni. They may have had an inkling that 21 was in trouble, but that not able to make that
Could not get to them. And yeah, there's lots of cars that made it to the finish with problems and without. And by the way, Ajit Red Ant Racing, both their cars making it to the finish. So that's good stuff from the new young team based around Ajit Kumar. And his car finishing there in 35th position.
Yeah, 11th, just outside the points after a late problem for Roman Wozniak. But we also get to say, by the way, Narain Karthikeyan not only starts on Le Mans, he finishes.
Yes, yeah. We were in the middle of that story when he was here to drive in the top class in LMP1, tripped over the pit wall.
On his way way to the grid.
Yes.
And fractured his shoulder.
Yeah, and could not start the race. And because it was on the way to the grid, nobody had practiced as a spare driver, so they didn't have 3 drivers, so the car didn't start the race.
And that, indeed, was the start of a glittering Le Mans career for one Andre Lotterer, who is going to be taking part in the big race tomorrow. With, to say they're on form, Genesis Magma Racing would be a massive understatement. What a surprise package they've been. This, though, is all about the road to Le Mans, and we've certainly seen some teams, and I think in particular some drivers that have every chance with the talent we've seen on display there of being here, if not next year, then in the years to come in the big race itself. And I hope, Theo, you're one of them.
Just going to point out, by the way, that Ajit Redant by Virage is 2 cars finished ahead of the best surviving Team Virage car. So look,
if I was in the race,
side project, you'd have been in the Redant cars, of course you would.
If I was in the race, we would have been 4 laps ahead.
Yeah,
and, yeah.
Perfect.
No,
all right.
It was a bit of a messy one, but we'll all come back stronger. And it's good to see the amount of finishes, like you say. I mean, it's it's a big grid of cars. So
I'm just going to kind of point out something we've just seen briefly on the screen. Number 78 car is under investigation. PRST, that is the pit stop time.
I believe so.
Yep.
So there might still be dramas to come.
We did wonder what their first pit stops were like because we didn't see them.
And that's what the penalty was for 21, which is drive-through penalty plus the missing second on their stop. So we know that it was 1 2-minute 50. No, was that high class or M Racing? We didn't see, I don't think we noticed M Racing having a shorter stop. And of course now the screen's cleared itself, we can't tell. But there may be dramas to come. And that would be bad news for Justine Monnier and Ivan Muller's team, because to win here in the LMP3 Pro-Am, a massive feather in their cap. Well, I think a success, and I'm not saying a qualified success, I think a success, 1 3-hour race. I think that's an awful lot better format for these cars. And if you're going to have 2-hour races in the regular season, you come to Le Mans and make it special, a 3-hour race. I think that's a really good bit of lateral thinking. I'm really liking that.
I mean, as someone who kind of covers this race, has covered it as a journalist, has covered it with Johnny Palmer for most of the seasons in recent years. Yeah, I want to see an improvement in some of the driver behaviour, the driver standards for this. But you want this to be what it needs to be, which is a showcase for talent, a development route for talent. And one of the ways I think you do it is by giving them a very big race to look forward to and find out what it takes to get home. And there's a fair number of teams here. Well, there's at least 16 that didn't make it home that now know what you don't need to do.
Yeah. And, it's the road to Le Mans is the massive carrot, isn't it, that attracts drivers to Michelin Le Mans Cup that might otherwise go and do, GT Open or some GT World Challenge or something else, not just because you get a chance to start racing prototypes, which is something entirely different that GT3 doesn't offer, but also because of this. And this is more of a carrot now with this 3-hour race. And Theo, having stood and watched it, I'm sure you would be very happy not to stand and watch it again next year. Yeah,
I think it'd be more fun to be involved. I think we should make all of them 3 hours. I think it did well enough that we should make them all 3 hours. And just give it a good go.
Well, and there's no reason on the ELMS calendar why you couldn't have a 3-hour, maybe not everyone, but have a couple of 3-hour races, and then graduate to a 4-hour ELMS race on the Sunday.
Just give us a 24-hour race. I think that's the best way.
Okay, well, it took 3 hours to get rid of a third of the grid. I think that might be a little ambitious. All right, well, that is it for Road to Le Mans 2026. On behalf of Graham Goodwin, Theo Makuris, Martin Haven saying thank you for joining us. They'll see you next time out.